Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. Today's new video on today, Tuesday. We are already in February 1st, 2022. We're talking about Tom Brady officially retiring for real this time around. We got Brian Flores suing the NFL due to collusion, racism, and all kinds of crazy things with Bill Belichick. Is it Brian Daboll? Is it Brian Flores? There's some interesting things going on in the NFL. It's almost like Colin Kaepernick all over again, to be able to stand up for yourself, and obviously for the African American community, and not only for the community, but for the coaches, and being able to get a fair shot to be able to get a job. And then also Jim Harbaugh going to the Vikings. Most likely. It sounds like things are almost wrapping up. So we got a good show today. I'm going to drink some beer. We're going to do an NFL Q&A, and we're going to go over a few different things that I mentioned. I hope everyone is having a fantastic day. Unbelievable. Tuesday, February 1st, 2022. Can you believe that we are already into February? It's wild, man. If we went into yesterday at the end of January, we had Peter Schrager, on Good Morning Football, stealing the Uncle Momentum, acting like he made it up and claiming it's his. And now we're shifting over to Tom Brady officially retiring, officially calling it quits. And obviously, if you ended up watching, Good Morning Football or anything on NFL Network today, it was about this guy right here, Tom Brady. And everyone's talking to me and sending me messages. What's next for the Bucs? Are we going to go back to mediocrity? Very possible. Is there a chance for maybe like a Aaron Rodgers or a Russell Wilson? Maybe a long shot. Is there a chance for someone in the middle of the tier, like a Carr or a Cousins? Very possible. Or are you going to go to maybe someone like a Gardner Minshew? I don't really know where we're going to go, but I do know that Brady's gone. Gronk is gone more than likely. I would say probably 100%. But then afterwards, a lot of other guys like Leonard Fournette, Godwin, these guys might be leaving and going somewhere else. But let's just touch on Tom Brady. When I woke up this morning very, very early, instead of any, videos or tributes, it was pretty much like an 8 or 9 page Instagram, kind of thank you. Didn't mention the Patriots or Bill Belichick at all. And that might be a little jab at Bill when they had the Deflategate. And when they interviewed him, they said, oh, go ask Tom, go ask, the team, go ask the quarterback. So Tom probably didn't forget about that, since Bill Belichick pretty much runs the team. So that might be a little bit of a jab. Okay, all right, you're trying to ruin my reputation. We all know who the cheater really is, with the Spygate and the Deflategate. It's you, BB, Bill Belichick. Let's read this little excerpt from Tom Brady. So I've always believed the sport of football as an all-in, proposition. If 100% competitive commitment isn't there, you won't succeed. And success is what I love so much about our game. There is a physical, mental, and emotional challenge every single day that has allowed me to maximize my highest potential. And I have tried my very best these past 22 years. Now, these are no shortcuts to success on the field or in life. There are no shortcuts to success on the field or in life. This is difficult for me to write, but here it goes. I'm going to make that competitive commitment. I am not going to make that competitive commitment anymore. I have loved my NFL career, and now it's time to focus my time and energy on other things that require my attention, his wife and his kids. Pretty crazy, man. Tom Brady being able to walk away. Obviously, we broke the news that Tom Brady was going to be walking away, obviously with like Schefter and obviously Darlington and all these media outlet guys, saying, hey, it's time for me to walk away. But Brady didn't really respond on it. But at least there was some truth to it, even though it was a few days later. I'm definitely sad to see him, go away from the team. But we had a hell of a run for those 2 years. And the one important thing is that we ended up getting the Lombardi out of the first year. We lost, obviously, in the divisional round to the Rams this year. But, the ultimate goal was to try to get a Super Bowl in these 2 years. And we definitely accomplished that. He changed Tampa forever, the culture forever. And best case scenario for us is Aaron Rodgers coming over to Tampa next year. I don't know what the possibility of Aaron Rodgers coming over. If it's 1%, 10%, 30%, I don't really know. But I know I do play the Packers next year. And obviously with the Grossi Posse and the Fanatic family, if we can do a collab, it would be very interesting to have, Tom Brady retired and Aaron Rodgers not on the Packers sideline, but sitting there on Tampa Bay. You never know. Things are crazy in this NFL. And I love Tom Brady and what he's been able to bring to the team. I'm more of a defensive guy. I'm an offensive line guy, but anyone that comes to your team and brings a championship, even if I didn't like him in New England, if I didn't really like Big Bill Belichick in New England, obviously we know a lot of people hate the Patriots and the Cowboys. That's kind of universal. But when he comes to your team and he brings that championship mentality, and when he had 11 straight years of garbage football, it felt really good to be able to not only, win the Super Bowl, but let's forget about that. Let's just be respectable and actually be halfway decent of a football team. That's all I ever wanted, is just to be halfway decent out there. Tom Brady is going to be walking away and calling it a career. I hope everyone is having a fantastic day. Michael Sachs Jr. in the building. What a deal. Most looking forward to Washington's new name announcement tomorrow. Don't we already know what it is? Isn't it the Washington Commanders? I know there's a lot of leaks right now that they already have taken some domains on the internet. So I don't know if it's going to be the Washington football team. I don't think so. Redskins obviously was the old name, but we'll see where it goes. I thought obviously Red Wolves would be the most, interesting with the logo, the wolf. I think that the helmet design, the jersey design would be the best. But I think it's something of the Commanders or something of that nature is what I was hearing. So we'll find out tomorrow what it is. If it ends up being just Washington football team, obviously Washington football team fans will probably riot and be very upset. But I thought I could have sworn I heard that it was the Commanders, but I guess we'll find out tomorrow if that's going to be the real name, the Washington Commanders or something of that nature. As I kind of have ring a bell of something of that nature that I remember. All right. Is it real this time? Elliot Evans, Tom Brady walking away. Obviously, we have that 8-page Instagram. I'll go ahead and read some of the things that he ended up saying, but definitely sad to see him walk away, even though he already kind of got his tribute from all the players and the media, a few days ago over the weekend when they decided to release that bomb of information. And it looks like it ended up being true, but just delayed a little bit. All right. I'm sad about Brady retiring. I'm sad, but, I got my run, and we'll have to see who's next up in line. We'll have to see who's next up in line. All right. Because I'm glad Brady's gone because we no longer have to worry about him continuing his dominance every year. While I dislike, he's without a doubt the greatest player of all time. And, it's just going to be weird. When we had Phillip Rivers leave, it was weird to me. And then Eli, then Drew Brees. And it's like every single, guy in that kind of era, Ben Roethlisberger, now Tom Brady. It's like an end of an era, from those guys in like the early 2000s, 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004. And now we have a brand new era of Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Kyler Murray, kind of Josh Allen, kind of these young bucks that are coming up. And it's a whole new regime, a whole new crowd. But I think the NFL is in good hands. But it is sad to see some of the guys that you grew up with not playing in the game anymore. YouTube GM in the building. What to do? Kettle Cuber in the building. Says Saints Nation finally gets to be at top. Hey, pump the brakes a little bit. Pump the brakes. We don't know who your quarterback is and what happens if we get Aaron Rodgers. If we get Aaron Rodgers, you might be able to beat us in the regular season, but more than likely we'll be able to beat you guys overall for the record. But it did look like the schedule when YouTube GM pulled it up. There's a lot of tough games for the Buccaneers next year. But if, you guys are the top team, we'll be the wild card. If you guys, if we win the division, you guys will be the wild card, depending on if you guys have Jameis or someone better. But if I get Aaron Rodgers and you guys get Jameis, we'll probably have a better record than you guys. That's facts. So, but I don't know if I'm going to get someone that good to come in. So let's not just, assume that the Saints are going to be taking over the division for like the next 10 years. You guys will be good. You guys will be in the top 2 in the NFC South, we think, because we don't think that the Panthers and Falcons are there yet. But like I said, you don't get any trophies or awards for sweeping the Bucs in the regular season or having a great regular season record. It's all about, right, getting the championship and getting the Lombardi. So I loved his competitive nature. I think everyone did. The Washingtons of Washington. That is something that they probably would do, right? Absolutely. So I have mixed emotions on Brady's retirement. Hell of a player and a person. And just that Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan factor, whether you love him, you hate him, he beat your team, ended up ruining your dreams of winning a championship or making my dreams come true and bringing a championship to Tampa and changing the culture. You have to realize 11 years of garbage football was a lot for me to take. And I never thought that was going to happen. And all I wanted to be is just competitive. I just wanted to be a good team that was in the running for the playoffs. If we ended up making the NFC Championship game, great. If we won the Super Bowl, that was like ecstatic. Like, oh my God, we did it. But I mean, I didn't really expect championships for sure. We were hoping we just have an opportunity for one or two. We went all the way in his first year, fell a little short. I guarantee if we were healthy this season, healthy, AB was still there. Godwin never got hurt. Tristan Wirfs and Jensen, the center, never got hurt. I almost guarantee we would have made it to the NFC Championship game. Maybe not won it, but I think we would have got at least to that point. But, injuries are everything. That's what really derailed, the Green Bay Packers, obviously with their David Bakhtiari, Tristan Wirfs on my line. And it shows you when you have guys on the line that can't stay healthy, sometimes having that right tackle or that right guard or left tackle or center out, it's just as impactful as a star wide receiver or running back, sometimes even more. And that's big facts, especially when you go against a team like the Rams that have Aaron Donald in an amazing pass rush. Now they're going over the Tom Brady retirement here. So they're going to be doing like a Tom Brady, kind of like a shrine, kind of like giving back to the love of Tom Brady for like the next 6 hours. So I'm watching NFL Network. So if you want to kind of take a look at all the different Super Bowls that Tom has been in against all these other teams, and I'm not even necessarily watching it for just Tom. I want to see it for the other teams, the Rams and the Panthers with Jake Delhomme and the Eagles with T.O. So I'm excited to see all the different matchups of the teams that are there. So hop in the room, join your boy. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can. Cash App, $, ORION NWSF on the YouTube Super Chat right here. And if you're looking for merch, Northwest Sports Fanatic merch, link is below every video on the YouTube page. Follow me, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, NW Sports Fanatics. Michael is in the building. What to do? AEW all day, every day. Nathaniel Marsh, Nate the Great, had to say hi to everyone at the movies tonight watching. Okay. All right, seeing Scream for the second time. I know you like scary movies. Obviously, you like the video games. All right, you like the scary movies. Nate the Great, one of the GOATs in the room. What to do? Elliot Evans in the building. What to do? Zini Panini with a little bit of an NWSF tribute with that tweet. I appreciate that. We did some little nice things for her, me and Prayer Man 2009. And then she ended up giving some of the, kind of potential money to buy a gift for herself to her mom, who's a Bengals fan, which was very kind-hearted and selfless of you. So then I ended up sending you another gift. And then in return, you ended up showing me that you ended up getting some like Eagles flip-flops, a Jalen Hurts t-shirt, and some other things. So that's awesome. That really made me smile today. So I'm happy that the NWSF family could take care of you. And then just a little glimmer of, being happy and getting a little Eagles merch. That's always going to make you happy since you are a big Eagles fan. I love you. Appreciate you. Zini Panini in the building. Let's see here. Kettle's in the building. What to do? Is it Jameis had a 1-year contract, but he played well. So why wouldn't you bring him back if his ACL, MCL, PCL? I mean, Taysom Hill, you shouldn't have signed him for 4 years, $40 million, and then Sean Payton dipped, right? Obviously, Trevor Simeon's not good enough. Ian Book's not good enough. Jameis was good. If you guys would have not got hurt with Jameis Winston, you guys would have probably got the 6th seed and won 10 to maybe 11 or 12 games. Bang! $50 donation by my boy. What to do? I can always count on the GOATs to support your boy no matter what. Love you guys and hope you have a great night. Bang! $50. He's going to be watching a movie. But even with that being said, he has the love and support, the #1 donator to the NWSF, besides Holly Hundo, Nate the Great. $50. Thank you so much, man. Like I said, your support is big for me. You know what I mean? Because like I said, if I'm going to try to do this full time and not do any other jobs, I'm going to try to record as much as I can, maybe every day. It's going to take a lot of work, a lot of energy, a lot of passion, but I'm going to need your guys' support as well. I love you guys and I appreciate you guys very, very much. Look at that. My boy, Nate the Great, always supporting the channel. What to do? Let's see here. Elliot Evans, maybe we have to re-sign him. I can't do a whole season of Taysom. I mean, Jameis is better than Taysom. I think we've already figured that out. And it just depends. Can you get someone better than Jameis? Like if Kirk Cousins was available, would you guys want Kirk Cousins on the Saints more than Jameis? I think I might want to stick with Jameis. I mean, I know there was a lot of criticism in Tampa, maybe because he just couldn't fucking see with the LASIK. But now, I mean, with the LASIK and just the chemistry with the teammates, I mean, I thought he had a pretty fucking awesome season, to be honest. And it seemed like a good fit for you guys. So as long as his knee is healthy, why not? Why not? Okay. Taysom Hill is very good in starting to understand our situation. False. Are you a Saints fan, Kettle? Supposedly you are. Have you watched him play football? I've watched as many games as many Saints fans out there. Taysom Hill is not good, okay, at quarterback. I mean, he's good at, being a wide receiver, a tight end, an occasional step in to be like an RPO wildcat quarterback, or he can do special teams if he wants, even though you guys got Deontay Harris. But he turns the football over too much. He fumbles too much. He throws way too many picks. He can't be the guy. I think we already learned that over the last couple years, that he's not good enough for the Saints long term. Short term as a Band-Aid, maybe, but Jameis Winston, there's a reason why that he won the job, because he's actually a better quarterback than Taysom Hill. Come on, man. I know you're a Saints fan, and that's a horrible take. If you actually watch them this season and watch him as a player, I mean, I thought most Saints fans are under this understanding that he's not good enough to be the starter. I mean, he's on your team and he does great things as like a Swiss Army knife, putting him, moving him around in different positions, but he's definitely not good enough to be your guys' starter long term. And if he is, you guys are going to struggle, all right, because he fumbles too much and he throws way too many picks. I watch the games, all right. I assume you watch too, so it's a very weird and rare comment by a supposed Saints, super fan, Kettle Cuber. Come on, man. Didn't you watch the games? Other Saints fans will let you know. He's not good enough, man. He's not good enough. I mean, it's going to be hard to find that next Drew Brees, but it's definitely not Taysom Hill, my dude, all right? It's definitely not. So we're going to get a major winter storm starting overnight through Thursday. Prayers up. Hopefully everything is okay for you guys there. Elliot says same. He said we're supposed to get at least a foot, maybe two. Wow. Yeah, we don't have any snow out here in Oregon. Just kind of sunny weather or a little bit overcast out here. Nothing crazy like that. You guys keep in touch with me on Twitter and Instagram. Let me know if you guys need anything. I'll be keeping in touch with you guys to make sure that you guys are okay. YouTube GM, I like Brady overall, but he was kind of a soul-crushing to me as a Falcons fan. Of course, he's going to be soul-crushing to anybody out there. So that's absolutely big facts. Brady's last Super Bowl loss was dealt by my Eagles. Go Birds. Absolutely. Yeah, you do say that every stream. So you know what I mean? When you talk about certain things, like if you have someone pass away or an animal pass away, you can't joke around about that stuff. Okay. If you're trying to get attention or whatnot, but you say that every single stream and you can't be doing that. So I don't know if you think that that's a cute thing to do to be able to get us to be able to recognize you, but we're not fucking stupid in the room. All right. If something like that does happen, and it has happened to people that are in the room, we take that shit very seriously. And I don't want to have to, put you in timeout or ban you, but I've been banning a lot of people lately and I don't want to have to do that. So recognize and be careful on the things that you say. You know what I mean? You can't be talking about certain touchy subjects, especially when people in the room are going through depression, addiction, anxiety, and all kinds of, loss of death and people and families and whatnot. Just something that you need to be able to recognize, Michaela, because Elliot recognizes it. I recognize it. A lot of the other people in the room recognize that shit. It's not okay. All right. So if I didn't have the flu, I would be throwing a party for his retirement. Zini Panini. I bet you would have, right? Absolutely. So I figured I'd come in and say hi when I had a down moment at work. I appreciate that. And I really appreciate the kind words with the tweet. And I appreciate you sharing with me what you bought. Like I said, that was the intention overall. And it was so awesome that you decided to give the initial gift of me and Prayer Man to your mom so she could get something, as far as, the Bengals are concerned, and, her being a Bengals fan for quite some time. So being selfless and, caring about someone other than yourself. And that really shows what type of person that you are, similar to myself and a lot of the other people in the room, like Sarah Small, obviously Nate the Great, and Holly Hundo. We're all in that same boat. Odin's son, Odin's child, Shepard Williams, Cyberpunk 53, Forbidden Alchemy, all of the goats. You guys are amazing. I appreciate you guys very much. Air Whitey in the building. What's good? What to do? Bang, 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 bang. Nate the Great, $50. You are the man. He's at the movies. He's watching Scream for the second time around, and he's already got us to halfway to our goal. Just like that. Thank you so much. Appreciate you very, very much. What will you do with the channel over the off season? Still going to be doing NFL. So anything that's popping off in the NFL, I'll be doing, college football. We'll probably be doing some, coverage on some of the athletes that are going to be going into the draft. I'll probably end up doing some NBA. I'm definitely going to be doing WWE and AEW, probably some MLB. So I'll be doing a lot of things. It's not going to be like, just nothing. I'm going to be recording probably almost every day. So I'm going to keep it moving, and I'm going to do a wide variety of things, but we'll definitely be doing the WWE pay-per-views every month, probably the AEW pay-per-views, maybe some AEW Dynamites or Rampages once in a while. But we're going to continue to do mostly NFL and college football, that type of thing, and wrestling. But there'll be some other things that are sprinkled in. That is facts. Taysom Hill is not good. The only reason he won games starting was because of Sean Payton and our defense bailing out, and that's from a Saints fan. So I don't know what it is, you know what I mean, about some Saints fans. Like, I know some Saints fans watch every game in entirety, and some Saints fans are bandwagon, some Saints fans are fair weather, but most of them are pretty hardcore and watch, a good majority of the film. And just because a guy is on your team doesn't mean you have to defend them to the very death, to the very end. I mean, it is okay to criticize your players, and it's not that I'm a Buccaneer fan and I'm a fan of all 32 teams that I'm coming after, other players on other teams. I'm not a fucking hater. I'm not one of those people that causes drama. I just speak the truth. I'll say it, if it's my team, and I'll say it if it's your team. But obviously, I speak the truth. I call it right down the middle. I don't have to be biased. I think a lot of people that if you actually watch the games, Saints fans realize Jameis was 1,000 times better. And remember, I'm a Buccaneer fan. I have no love for Jameis Winston. So if I'm saying Jameis Winston is the man, I mean, what does that say about me? I'm not a hater. I didn't like him on my team, but I'm at least willing to give him credit for your guys' team. He's doing fantastic. And if he would have been able to have LASIK, all right, with my team, maybe it would have been good to have him still on my team. It just, with all those turnovers and with all the picks, it really put a bad taste in my mouth, just like it would have put a bad taste in the Saints fans' mouth if he would have came in there this year and played like shit. Then you guys would be like, fuck this guy. We don't want him anymore. Just how I felt. But he definitely turned it around, and good for him. You know what I mean? To be able to turn the narrative around. But Taysom, again, is not good enough to be the starter. I guarantee there'll be 100 other Saints fans that'll back me up. I mean, if you actually watch the games, he's not good enough. He's turnover prone. He fumbles too much. He can't read defenses. He's not good on third down. I mean, he can run with the football from time to time, but just the accuracy with his arm and then fumbling too much, those are his two bugaboos. Those are his two problems that he needs to work on. Can he get better? Yes, he can, but I think that he's better off being the weapon of the Swiss Army knife and let Jameis be Jameis and let him, do all the other things. Come in at quarterback for a couple plays, run wildcat maybe for a couple plays, maybe run an RPO once in a while, but not to be the guy that has the ball in his hands 90% of the time. That's not going to win you guys games. Even though you guys got a great O-line, a great running back, an AK-41, and a great defense, but that was a big part of it. The defense bailing them out, and a great running game, and a great offensive line. But you need a guy that can push the ball down the field and get you consecutive first downs and have that leadership. And I'm just not sure if he's the guy. And I don't know if he's the guy for any team in the NFL. It seems like more of a backup QB rather than a starter, unless he can get tremendously better. That's facts. We need to cut him. He said he doesn't deserve that much money. Taysom Hill, 4 years, $40 million. That was overpaid. I agree. Say it snows every other day in northern Wisconsin. I'm over it. Damn, that's crazy. That's crazy. Better not be joking about loss. I will clearly throw hands. I know. That's why I have to bring it up. You know what I mean? It's like, when we have people that are close to me, close to you, and when you have people that come in there to try to get attention or whatnot. And that's something that she was, has been doing. If you've actually noticed in the streams, I know me and Elliot, we're very keen, and I pay attention to the chat. I see what comments are coming in there, and if you keep saying the same repetitive thing, over and over in like the last 3 or 4 chats, you know what I mean? It's like, come on, man. It's like that's something that you should know better. But maybe some people don't, you know what I mean? But at least we have to call them out and let them know that is not okay. It's not okay to joke about suicide or joke about anxiety or depression or addiction or anything like that. That's not a fucking joking matter, especially when we're in COVID right now with everything that's going on. Exactly. And I always got my people's backs like Zini Panini for life. Air Whitey in the building. It was nice as fuck out today. Air Whitey, where do you live at again? What part of the country are you in? YouTube GM, the Ohio River Valley, the parts of the Midwest, especially northern Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Arkansas. Yeah, I was reading some of the reports and watching the news. It is sounding like it is pretty crazy out there. YouTube GM is in Georgia. Okay. So my parents are going to have 6 inches of snow, maybe a foot in Springfield. Oh, metro area. Okay. Yeah, and like I said, don't be doing that. You know what I mean? We don't want to have to ban you. We don't have to, put you in timeout, but you have to be very careful on the words that you say. Joking around about shit like that is not funny. All right. Thank you so much, Orion. If you want to do some Colts news to help out and check out the Bucs news, absolutely. And I'm going to have a Birdman 951 when we have time, maybe on Fridays and on the weekend. He's going to join me. I'm going to invite him on the show so he can talk Eagles, we can actually talk about the NFL in general. So that way we can have not only my voice, but we can have two people that you guys can ask questions to, and we can bounce off each other. And obviously me and Birdman 951, we have good chemistry. He's a hardcore Eagle fan that lives in California. He's Eagles all day, every day. So for people like Zini Panini and the big Eagles fans in the room, you guys are going to love this guy. He's awesome. Like I said, he's just trying to grind on his YouTube channel now. And like I said, it's hard to break into YouTube, as anyone knows. You know what I mean? But if I can help someone out on my end and also have someone that I feel I can vibe with, I'm definitely going to have someone like that on the show with me, and someone that's already kind of doing recordings for himself, that has a setup that we can already vibe. And some of y'all have seen Birdman 951 on my channel before. And we'll also have people like Brute Saint and a few others, a big Saints fan. He'll be on the show from time to time. So, you know, it'll kind of vary, you know, as the season goes along, as we go into the off season, but I'm going to keep grinding it out. I mean, I've been nonstop on the channel, and I've been recording for 10 years straight. I've been recording since 2017 on YouTube, so I don't really take breaks. I'm still grinding and grinding and grinding. Bang! Air Whitey, roll out the barrel, baby. $12. Appreciate you very, very much. Bang, 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 bang. $12. We're at $62 already. Air Whitey, my boy. Appreciate you very, very much. Gang, gang, gang. All right, Taysom will make one good throw, and the Saints will be like, damn, maybe he is a good QB. Obviously, he'll make good throws. He's in the damn NFL, but he's not good enough to be a starting QB. And we watched him, at least I did, at BYU, and he was pretty sweet. He was pretty sweet. You know what I mean? You saw him make plays with his arm and his legs, and he definitely has a lot of talent. But just based on what we've seen so far, he's not good enough, and not to the Saints standard. You know what I mean? Even if he was on my Buccaneers, I would say the same thing. So don't for 1 second think that, oh, Orion's being a hater because he's a Bucs fan and he hates everything Saints. If that was true, then how come AK-41 Alvin Kamara is my favorite running back in the league? Explain, right? And how come I love Ryan Ramczyk? How come I love Cameron Jordan and Lattimore and Demario Davis, a.k.a. the glue? Like, you know, I wouldn't be able to say that I love these type of players if I didn't really love them. You know what I mean? I love the NFC South. I have a lot of love and pride for, you know, the division, but I love the NFC and the AFC, all 32 teams. And if you are great and you have greatness in you, I'm going to shout you out. But if there's some, you know, issues of you being inconsistent or being a shitty player, I'm going to call you out, even if you're on my Buccaneers. I'm not going to be like, oh, these crappy Buccaneers players are awesome, and I'm going to lie. Obviously, we know who's good in the NFL and who is not. And you obviously have to be good to make it to the NFL, but there's a difference between Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill, not only in my book, but I think for the real Saints fans that watch the games through and through, you can tell who's the better quarterback, Taysom Hill or Jameis Winston. I think it's pretty clear. All right. Said analysts are saying it was good for 2 years for the Bucs. It's not sounding too good for y'all, Rodgers, Wilson, or bust. Not necessarily, though. I mean, if we could end up getting like a Kirk Cousins or a Carr, I know we'll probably lose Gronk and Brady, but if we can re-sign Fournette, somehow re-sign Godwin if he doesn't go to Philly or the Colts or go somewhere else, if we can just kind of retain some of the pieces, it's not like we're going to drop off like maybe the Packers would drop off after losing Rodgers. I think we have a overall better talent core than the Packers do, but the Packers and Bucs might not fall off the face of the earth. I mean, instead of winning 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 games, it might be 8 or 9 that first season, unless we get like a big name guy, you know, Packers or Bucs, but you never know. You never know. We got to see what you guys do as well. But regardless of what the Saints do at quarterback or the Bucs, I think one thing that we can say probably in general and in common peace and ground, we'll both probably still be better than the Panthers and the Falcons. I think we can agree to that, right? So, I mean, you guys might be first, and maybe we'll be second, or maybe somehow we get Aaron Rodgers and we're first, and you guys are second. But realistically, it would be probably surprising if the Falcons and Panthers beat either one of us. I mean, still the Saints and the Bucs run the NFC South. I think we can at least agree to that. We have enough pieces there, we would assume, that we can still stay at the top of the NFC South. And if you win the division, you're going to the playoffs, and there's an opportunity for a wild card team in the NFC South to get in there as well. Sarah Small, I get horrible stress anxiety. Yeah. CP in the building. What to do? He said, holy shit, $62, and I just joined. It happens, man. You know, Nate the Great, he hops in. He's at a movie, wants to show love. He probably can't watch the whole stream. Obviously, he can't have his phone on while he's watching a movie, but he shows the love and the support. I mean, when I did the Royal Rumble, he dropped a $500 donation, and he's done that twice already. So between probably the last, 6 or 7 streams, I think he's sitting at over like $2,000 in donations, somewhere between like $2,000 and $2,200 just from him alone, not including Holly Hundo and, Forbidden Alchemy and all these other people. So, hey, CP, I appreciate you donating the $10, your first donation to the channel. It means a lot. And I remember faces. I remember people. I remember logos. We're going to be talking about Jim Harbaugh here in a second as well. Appreciate you, and I love you very much. CP in the building. Is it Orion? I'm Wisconsin born and bred, the Milwaukee-ish area. Awesome. I figured because you loved all of the Milwaukee sports, so I assumed that you were pretty close in the Milwaukee-ish or suburb area. That's awesome, man. Brute Saint in the building. Is the way I see it, Jameis proved in 7 games that he was better than Taysom did in multiple seasons. Facts. Thank you. So I see Saints fans that actually know football, and I'm not trying to say that you don't know football, for some of the other, Saints fans that are in the building. But Kettle, I mean, compared to like Brute Saint and Elliot Evans and some of the others that really watch the games, and I'm not saying that you don't know football, but I think it's very clear, on who's good and who needs improvement. And I hope Brute Saint, when you have time in the off season or whatever, I'm going to have Birdman 951, but I would love to have some Saints input since, you could be my Saints guy. And obviously I got Birdman 951 for the Eagles content as well. And if other people end up having, particular setups and they have some free time, and if I have a good relationship with them, maybe we'll have some of the other fans on the channel as well. Sarah Small says, I live in St. Louis metro area, 9 to 12 inches. That is wild. That is wild. Hoping for Harbaugh news tomorrow. Yes, I think that I think it's going to happen, man. And we're going to talk about it. I got some little graphics up here as well. Brute Saints. And when we talk Saints, oh, absolutely. You're my number one guy. I've already had you on with Birdman 951. You're very knowledgeable. Obviously, there is a natural love-hate relationship from the Saints towards the Bucks. Right? Towards me, towards the Falcons, towards the Panthers. It's natural. But on the flip side, you're pretty, not biased. You can kind of tell like what's good, what's not good. You're very critical of your team, just like I am. But then you can also realize that, hey, you might not like Cordarrelle Patterson on the Falcons. Maybe you don't like the Falcons in general. But if Cordarrelle Patterson came over to the Saints, you would love him. Just like I would love him if he came over to my Buccaneers. And that's what we're talking about. If Demario Davis came over to the Buccaneers, I would be ecstatic. I know he's a little bit older, but there's just certain guys. That's why I'm not biased. Because at any moment, you never know for this rival guy that you're like, oh, fuck this team. I hate this player. And then 2 seasons later, he's suited up on your team. Then what are you going to do? You're going to keep ragging him and talking shit? No, you're going to support him because he's wearing your colors now. So that's why I'm the way that I am, because I just never know who might end up on my Buccaneers. And I want to make sure that I show love where love needs to be shown, especially when these guys have greatness in them. There's, so many levels of greatness in the football era. And I got to be able to show that love, especially for defense and offensive line. That's facts. Sarah Small, she says, CP, Harbaugh interviews tomorrow. I think it's pretty much a done deal from what I'm hearing. Now, if we can get Vic Fangio to be the defensive coordinator, then we're getting there. We're getting there, right? The most I've heard us getting 27 inches. Wow. Said Zini Panini, you can always be on the show as well. You already know that. It just depends on your work schedule. If you have time and you want to be able to talk some Eagles, obviously you can be on my show at any point. You know that. So I've seen dozens of things about it today on Instagram. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That would be huge for you guys. I'm hoping we get a QB and a coach. Absolutely. So, yeah, success in the past. Oh, way better than Zimmer. And you got to see what he did in San Francisco, what he can bring to Minnesota. If Rodgers is gone and Devontae Adams gets franchised or he's gone, who do you think is going to run the NFC North? Who do you think is going to win the NFC North? It's not going to be the Bears, and it's not going to be the Lions. So who is it going to be? Skull! It's going to be naturally you guys, and then the Bears and, probably the Packers will be battling it out for second place. But as long as you guys don't have any major injuries to Kirk Cousins, Dalvin Cook, Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson, you can beef up the offensive line, beef up the defense, maybe get a Vic Fangio and a Harbaugh. Then you guys might run that division for years to come unless Green Bay can get someone better at quarterback than who they have right now with Jordan Love. Or if Justin Fields, depending on how his development is, maybe the Bears will be competitive. If Fields can get better, but we have to kind of wait and see. But I would assume the Vikings would be the natural team to take over the Packers as the king of the North and the king of the North of the NFC, right? I mean, that's what I'm thinking. So what do you think about Cousins as a Vikings fan? In my opinion, he's a top 10 QB, has carried subpar Vikings team with a bad coach with respectable records. I don't think he's top 10. Sometimes his stats will say that, but I think CP will even let you know some of the stats are in garbage time. Those inflated yards when you're already down by 20 points, and then he's sitting at like 180 yards and he finishes with like 300. Well, fucking A, you're throwing on every down because you're down by 20. So I'm not sure if those really reflect on how great Cousins is. I think the one thing that we can all agree on is that we want Cousins to be more consistent, game in and game out, and be better on prime time. If he can be better on prime time and better in consistency, game in and game out, that's going to give him more love across the league. Even if his numbers, touchdown to interception ratio is great, yards are great. It's all about the wins, the losses, and as far as you can get in, the NFL. How far are you getting into the playoffs? Are you winning your division? How far are you getting? That's really what it's about. Sometimes stats can lie. They say men lie, women lie, stats don't lie, but stats do lie sometimes if you get stats in garbage time. You know what I mean? It's like those guys that are trying to rack up triple doubles in the NBA and they're throwing it off the backboard or tipping it to themselves to get like 3 rebounds just so that way they can end up getting 15 when they only are sitting at like 9. You know what I mean? Like sometimes there's like ways to, pad your stats, and it doesn't really mean that they're that great of a player. It's just sometimes you're kind of cheating the system a little bit. You know what I mean? You feel me? So what's the cap hit for Brady and Gronk retiring? I have to look into that. I know I saw some of that in there. Looks like we have a Cash App in here as well. Uh-oh. Look at this. Look at this. Uh-oh. Cyberpunk 53 in the building. He's one of the goats of the channel. Really want to take a guess on how much he donated? I don't even know if he's in the room. Are you in the room? I'm like scrolling down. I don't even see him in the room yet. All right, let's check this out. Let's take a guess on what Cyberpunk 53. And if you guys remember Cyberpunk 53, he donates pretty big. What do we guess that he donated on Cash App? Huh? Take some guesses. Oh, Cyberpunk, I see you. I'm about to let him know. Oh, baby. What is it? What is it? Cyberpunk 53. Bang, 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 bang. Let's go, baby. $100 dono by my boy for that loss on Sunday. Took all of my energy. Thank you, dude. Because obviously bills and things are a little bit tight, I won't lie. And I was actually kind of hoping within some time between Tuesday and Friday that I would get someone. The donations on the YouTube Super Chat are great, but I don't get those until next month. So everything that I get in February, like from now to the end of the month, I won't get that until March, like around March 20th. So if you end up getting a Cash App, I get that immediately, like today, and I end up getting 99% of it instead of 70%. So thank you so, so much. Cyberpunk 53, always coming in the clutch. You're the fucking man, dude. We're talking about people that really step up their game, on the NWSF. And, this guy, Cyberpunk 53, is always doing a 50. He's always doing 100. And he knows that, obviously, it helps me more getting it in the Cash App. And he normally just sends it to me on there. And I thank you for it. I know sometimes you'll do it through the YouTube Super Chat, but I think he understands that, a lot of us really do need the funds. So that way I can buy dinner for the fam, buy dog food, survive, pay bills, and it helps me stay just afloat with everything. So thank you so much. You're the fucking man, dude. And like I said, we got a lot of goats in the channel. Nate the Great, $50. All right. You got people like Air Whitey, always doing good business there. Okay. Appreciate you very much. And you got people like Holly Hundo, $100 last night. All right. Nate the Great, $500 during Royal Rumble. All right. Cyberpunk 53, always doing a 50 and 100. You got guys like Shepard Williams, always donating big. Odin's son, Odin's child, Forbidden Alchemy with his first donation, $100. CP with his first donation last night with $10. Thank you so much. You guys are the best fans on planet Earth that I could fucking ask for. Appreciate you. Someone should look that up. YouTube GM, if you could look up that information for me. I don't know the exact number, but I know the cap hit for Brady, if he would have retired by like Friday, there was a certain amount that he would have gained and then a certain money that he would have to maybe pay back. So there's some analytics and logistics in there. But if you want to look that up and see if you can find that information for the people in the chat, that would be greatly appreciated very much. Cousins is a weird QB. 1 week he'll ball out, and then he'll lose the Lions the next week. Exactly, right? So obviously he gets shit on all the time, but he's not the problem. Yes, see, it's the defense and the offensive line and the coaching. That's what I think, CP. You watch the team, you understand. I think that he's pretty good. Honestly, if Cousins was available, I would take him on my team just like Carr in a heartbeat. I think those guys are sitting at like 11, 12, 13, 14 in the NFL. They may not be top 10, but they're just on the outside, and most of the time they play better than worse. So I'll take that. They could be a little bit better, but a lot of the problems of them losing, it's not their fault. It's usually the O-line, the defense, the shitty coach. coaching, the shitty play calling. So I think a lot of people that say, Cousins is garbage, Carr is garbage, check yourself. I think that those guys are great, and I would take them on Tampa Bay. So if I'm saying that I would take them, maybe that would change your opinion a little bit, that they're not as bad as maybe the league shows them or perceives them to be. It's usually the people that are around them, and you're only as good as your coaches are around you. Wax on, wax off. Mr. Miyagi and Daniel-san, you got to be able to have that guy to be able to mentor you. And if you don't have good coaches, how far are you going to be able to go? Not everyone is going to have the Tom Brady in them to be able to self-manage themselves and take them up to, levels above and beyond that anyone could have ever seen. You feel me? So that's what I kind of feel. So I could go off about the subject, but it's hard to do over text unless there was a way to hop on with Orion and explain it all. Hey, you might be able to do that at some point, CP. All right. He said, yes, I do. There's no better options out there. I would say stick with him. I mean, based on the money and what's going on. I like him. A lot of people hate on him. I like him. I think that he could take you to an NFC championship game if you got Harbaugh, if you got Fangio at DC, but you have to build the O-line and the defense. And if you don't build the O-line and defense up, it's never going to happen. But I could see you guys overachieving in the next 5 years and making an NFC championship game appearance if you improve the O-line, improve the defense, and got Vic Fangio as your D coordinator or someone of that level. You feel me? Chief Gone Chief in the building. Yo, what to do? Appreciate you. Hope everyone is doing well. Said the only issue is with Cousins. Top 10 of most of his career. I don't know about top 10, my dude. You're really in this top 10 thing with him. I think he's just outside of the top 10, but sometimes he plays like top 10. Like I said, not everyone can be a top 5 quarterback in the league. All right. So careful who you talk shit about because they might end up on your team. That's how I feel about Grayson Allen on my Bucks. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's why I've always tried to give love where love needs to be given. You know what I mean? Because it's just like you start talking shit about rival players. Like imagine if you were like the Redskins back in the day, all right, whatever they're going to be now, the Washington football team, the Washington Commanders, and you were like, fuck the Eagles, fuck Donovan McNabb. Donovan McNabb is a piece of shit. And then all of a sudden, like 4 years later, Donovan McNabb is the new Washington Redskins quarterback. Then what? You know what I mean? Then what do? Right? You talk shit about the guy that you hated him for so many years, and then now he's suited up for your team. Now, are you supposed to root against him? He's wearing your colors now, so now you got to root for him. So that's why I always try to have that humble pie and always try to give people the respect that they deserve because you never know when that rival player will join your team. And that's why I've always tried to keep that, that non-biased and just keep it right down the middle, 50-50. You feel me? So I'm going to say this. People are dealing with the Hurricane Ida, literally stayed out for hurricane. Our city looked like a war zone. Yeah, I'm praying for everyone out there. Hope everyone is doing okay with a lot of the weather issues that's coming out there. Cousins get the same hate for the same reason Stafford did when he was in Detroit. It's not his fault. The Vikings have been mediocre. Well, they've had times where they've had good runs. Well, if we don't, if we're not forgetting Minneapolis Miracle, obviously Kyle, the Red Zone Rudolph, they beat the Saints twice in the playoffs. So it's not like the Vikings have been this like shitty football team like the Detroit Lions. I mean, they've been much better than Detroit. Detroit goes to the playoffs with Stafford every 5 years, either winning the division or getting a wild card. Big difference. Minnesota has been definitely like the second place team behind the Packers for many, many years. But to get over the hump of Rodgers, that's tough. You know what I mean? Obviously, with Rodgers being a Hall of Famer, he might not be able to win the Lombardi, but he's held down that NFC North for quite some time. Cyberpunk 53, $100. Sarah Small guessed it. Big, big, big. Appreciate you, my dude. Very, very much. Cyberpunk 53, always coming through in the clutch. Thank you so much, man. And like I said, it's going to help out a lot because a lot of times if I end up getting down to $20 or less, and I know I'll be getting money in a couple weeks, that's man, I got to hopefully manage things a certain way, and my girlfriend might not get paid until this week, and we got our rent's going up. We just had our rent go up because we moved into a 3-bedroom, and then they just sent us a notice that our rent is going up again. So instead of paying $500 something each a month, now it's looking like it might be $700. You know what I mean? So it's if I'm going to try to do this full time, I'm going to have to work extra hard, and it's not like I have to be rich. All I need to do is just be able to pay my rent, pay my bills, pay my cell phone. And then if we end up getting more and more Fanatic family members to subscribe and we can maybe do raids, I'd love to do that. Maybe do some charity work, but I'm not at that point just yet. So any type of donation that we do get will help me be able to continue to do this. And I'm really wanting to try to focus, on this like Grossi and try to do this full time. It's kind of a risk. Obviously I can always get a full-time job or a part-time job here and there, but just with depression and anxiety and, being able to talk with you guys is therapy for me as well. Sometimes having 2 full-time jobs or 3, it's tough. it's mentally draining. So if I can just do one thing and focus all my energy on you guys and the channel, and we can get enough support to be able to do that, that's really the dream for me. So that way I can end up, doing something nice for you guys as well. Bang, 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 bang. Appreciate you guys very, very much. YouTube GM, he knows. Brute Saint, he knows. Cyberpunk 53 always coming through in the clutch. Chiefs, man, it's tough for all of us. It's tough for all of us. You know what I mean? With the Packers and Grossi losing, my Bucks losing, the Chiefs losing, the Bills losing. There's been a lot of heartache, a lot of just craziness. I'm very excited to see where they go. Yo, they just said Washington Commanders is official. See, that's what I said at the beginning, right? Your boy got the inside info. You know what I mean? I do a lot of reading. I do a lot of research. I don't have like people like Adam Schefter, in my back pocket or anything. But Chris Guzman is a Washington Redskin, Washington football team guy. So he should know. And I was reading reports a couple weeks ago that the domains were bought, and I was digging deep because that's what I do. I dig deep on all 32 teams. And they said that the Commanders, Washington Commanders, was actually, the domain was taken by a company that the NFL uses for domains. So I said, that's weird. That's weird. And so I kind of put it together, and I figured that the Commanders is official. So I guess we'll find out tomorrow when they have the Washington Commanders, and we'll do a video about it. We'll end up doing a live stream, and we'll see what the logo looks like. And I mean, it can't be really any worse than the Washington football team. And maybe they'll have like a cool commander on the side of the helmet or on the jersey. I don't know what the jersey or helmet's going to look like. I would have really liked them to use the Red Wolves. Washington Red Wolves just sounded cool. Just the wolf on the helmet. I think the hats would have been dope. I think the jersey style would have been amazing with the wolf on the shoulders, or on the sleeves. But I mean, the animals is one thing, but Commanders doesn't sound horrible. I just thought Red Wolves would have been better. But I mean, it's a lot better than Washington football team. So I guess we'll talk about that tomorrow. Chris Guzman, your Washington expert in the building. What to do? What are we at right now? $162. Yes, let's do it. You guys are the best fans on planet Earth. Thank you so much. I donated to Shotzi Blackheart's family last night as well. Her dad died, and they need help with costs for a big-ass funeral. Shotzi's awesome. And that's another thing, too. Odin's son, Odin's child. There's a couple of us in the room that love wrestling. Air Whitey, myself, Sarah Small, Odin's son, Odin's child. And Odin's son, Odin's child is a big Shotzi fan. So anytime we do like WWE live stream watch parties, we'll be doing a lot of those. And you know what? Even if Royal Rumble kind of disappointed me a little bit as a fan, I'm going to keep my Peacock subscription, and I'm going to do every one, just to have that filler content as we're, going to be ending with football. And so obviously the next one is going to be on a Saturday at like 9 a.m. The one that's going to be like, I think you said like in Saudi Arabia. So I thought it was going to be during the week, but it looks like it's going to be on a Saturday. So if it's Saturday morning, no problem. I just can't get too fucked up. I just can't smoke or edibles or just drink too much. Speaking of drinking, I got a beer right here. Cheers. As long as I don't do too much of this before that particular pay-per-view, we'll be good. Cheers out to Shotzi and all of y'all. Appreciate you. I got a couple beers here that I need to crack. But, I'm just having so much fun hanging out with you guys. And we'll be talking about Brady. We still got to talk about Brian Flores. And it's kind of like one of those things. It's like Colin Kaepernick all over again. You know what I mean? There's like some crazy shit about the owner trying to pay him $100,000 to lose games, and then he was winning games, and then the owner was pissed. So a lot of collusion, a lot of bullshit that's going on. And then obviously there was a text with Bill Belichick, and he's like, "Oh, you're hired, congratulations." And then at the end of the conversation, Brian Flores is like, "This is Brian Flores, right? Not Brian Daboll." And he's like, "Oh fuck, my bad." So he pretty much like was already saying that even though Flores had an interview a couple days after for the job, they already gave it to Daboll. So it already shows you that they only have one African-American coach that's in the NFL, which is Mike Tomlin. And Brian, obviously, Brian Flores was the second one, but he got let go, which was stupid. If they would have picked Justin Herbert, they would have been just fine instead of Tua. But a lot of stuff that we still need to talk about with that and Jim Harbaugh as well. That's facts. Yeah, it's on Bleacher. So, hey, your sources are right. My sources were right. Feels good, man. When you actually have something and you think that you're right, and then you end up, we'll find out officially tomorrow. But, hey, Your boy knows, you know. That's what happens when you really have passion and love. I mean, there's going to be some media outlets and a lot of fake news, but sometimes you're going to get the real shit. And when you end up reporting something real, it makes you feel good. You know, it's like we feel like we're like mini Adam Schefters, except the non-douchebag factor, because a lot of people fucking hate Schefter and they hate Darlington and all those people that break the stories, especially if it ends up not being true. If you watch the Vikings games, you'd see that he plays well consistently. Even his losses, he plays really good. But again, YouTube GM, if you're down by 20 points, he's throwing the football in every down, your stats are padded a little bit. I think that's all we're saying. Dalvin Cook gets hurt a lot too. So what does that mean? Yeah, you got Madison there, but you're throwing the football a lot and you have Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson. So that's all I'm saying. If the defense is bad, right, and they can't stop anyone, offensive line's not that good, running game is hurt pretty consistently, you're going to be throwing the football a lot. So, I mean, he might have a good touchdown to interception ratio, but ultimately at the end of the day, if you have, let's say, 30 touchdowns and 6 picks and you don't make the playoffs, then what? Right? It's like, oh, wow, you got a great touchdown to interception ratio, but then your team is like, 7-10? I mean, what does that prove? Nothing. You're not in the playoffs, and that's what it's about. You feel me? You got to be able to win games. When you have great stats, it's one thing, but if you have great stats and it doesn't get you anywhere, then it's just like individual things that people don't really care about. It might help you get more money in a contract, you know what I mean? But if you got to win games and you got to go to the playoffs and you got to try to win Super Bowls, that's facts. See, CP's like me. See, YouTube GM has his opinions, you know what I mean? And like I said, sometimes you got to talk to the fans, or you have someone like me that digs really deep, with all the teams, you know what I mean? And I'm not going to be right all the time, but he's not top 10. Even if a Vikings fan says that, no one thinks that Kirk Cousins is top 10 except for you, YouTube GM. You're the only one on planet Earth that thinks Kirk Cousins is top 10. He might have had top 10 stats this year, but no one on planet Earth thinks he's top 10. He's somewhere between 11, 12, and 13, and Carr is right there on the Raiders, right there next to him. That's facts. Russ was hurt, though, this year, too. You know what I mean? And there you go. Russ wasn't 100%. See how I say something and then you guys just go right into it? You feel me? So I would trade Cousins if it meant we could get Russ to the Vikings. Well, I think anyone would. I think that's a pretty no-brainer. Maybe trade Kirk to the Niners for Trey. They're not going to trade Trey away because the Garoppolo's gone. Trey's the future. Trey's the starter going into next year, 100%. Go see the new Jackass movie this weekend. That'll make you laugh. Until I found out that Johnny Knoxville has fucking brain damage from the movie. But I did hear that it was funny. I used to watch it when I was younger. Sad. You know what I mean? I don't know how bad the brain damage is. But obviously, you can only go so far in the Jackass, movies until something serious happens. And it sounds like it was pretty bad. But you saw the movie and it sounds like people enjoyed it. So I might have to go see it. Maybe not in the theater, but maybe when it comes out to like Netflix or on TV. It'll be interesting, too, to see the ratings for this year's Super Bowl. I think it's going to be good because the thing is, even though we wanted Chiefs-Rams, right, or people wanted the opposite, Bengals-Niners, from the 80s Super Bowls and reliving the past, or Chiefs-Niners, we got the fourth least likely matchup, right? We got the Rams and the Bengals, but you got Stafford and people like rooting for him. So even if you don't like the Rams themselves, Aaron Donald's exciting, Stafford's there, OBJ, Cooper Kupp is amazing, right? So you got that side of it where you can maybe root for players on the Rams rather than the Rams themselves. And then who doesn't like Joe Burrow? Get the gat, get the gat, get the gat. He might be the coolest motherfucker on planet Earth. You know what I mean? He's just cool, dude. You know what I mean? He's Joe Cool, Joe Burr. He's just that guy. The Heisman, the Natty, and then he's got a chance to win, the Lombardi, and he'll be the first player to ever do it if he does it. And I guarantee they're going to be heavy underdogs, but they've been heavy underdogs all year. So if somehow, some way the Bengals line can contain, right, the Rams, they have a shot. It's not like the Rams are automatically going to win by 10 points or more, even though most people think so. I mean, you never know. The Bengals get Jesse Bates or Von Bell to make a couple picks, or maybe T-Rex gets a strip sack. Maybe some of their key guys on the Bengals make some plays, and maybe the game's a little closer. Because I guarantee if it's close at the end and McPherson has to end up kicking a field goal, what do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen if McPherson has to go at the very, very end? He's going to make it 50, 51, 52, 53, 54. I watched Pat McAfee show today, and they had Adam Vinatieri on there talking about his son going to UMass and kicking. And they're talking about Justin Tucker might be the best kicker in football, but they think that this kid as a rookie, he might be already the number 2 kicker in the NFL. Like, that's a lot of love and respect, not only by McAfee and what he does, obviously in the NFL and what he did, but also by Winatieri, saying that, hey, we know Justin Tucker is great, but they think that this kid is already number 2, number 3 in the NFL. You got Harrison Butker, you had Koo on the Falcons a couple years ago, but this kid, 10 or 11, straight field goals, 50 yards or more, 40 yards plus. I mean, it's just amazing to see what a rookie can do. McPherson's a stud, and I can't wait to see his development. And if it ends up being close, I know he'll make it. You know what I mean? If it's 27-27, there's 3 seconds left, the Bengals need to hit a 55-yarder, the game's over. The Bengals will win the Super Bowl if it gets to that point. If it's tied and it's up to him to kick the winning field goal, he will make it. He's got ice water in the veins, and I think he's proven that. Very, very clear. You know what I mean? So from what I'm seeing, Brady has $24 million dead cap hits for now of 2023, and Gronk with a 1.25. And I know there was some kind of bonus if he waited until Friday, and then he could have got the money and then announced the retirement. But it's just kind of cool for him just to get it out of the way. Maybe he'll return some of the money, maybe that's owed to him. We'll see how that all works out. Supposedly, he'll go to New England, sign a 1-day contract, retire a Patriot. They'll do some kind of ceremony. But I thought it was interesting that they decided to leave Bill Belichick and the Patriots out of that 8 or 9 page Instagram, memo that he made, because I think of the Deflategate. If you remember the Deflategate, when it happened, Bill Belichick was interviewed after he was already roasted for all these other gates that have happened. And he said, go ask Tom. He didn't say anything about himself. He's like, go ask Tom, go ask the team. So I think Tom didn't forget about that. He kept the receipts, and he's like, okay, you want to ruin my fucking legacy? You want to ruin everything when you know that you're the fucking ringleader of the cheating? I imagine some of the players might have known about some of the things, but let's be honest. I think we all know that Bill is the main cheater in the business. So, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. You know what I mean? We lie, we cheat, we steal, like Eddie Guerrero. Rest in peace, one of my favorites, right? We lie, we cheat, we steal. That's Bill Belichick. You know what I mean? And remember, he won the first 3 Super Bowls against the Rams, right now on TV against the Panthers and Jake Delhomme, and the Eagles with T.O., all by 3 points each. 3, 3, and 3. So there was probably some cheating going on in those Super Bowls as well. So if they would have had just a little bit more production, the Rams would have got 2. All right, the Panthers would have got their first, and the Eagles would have got 1 with T.O. So I don't know. It's like I think that Tom necessarily isn't like scot-free, but I think there was a reason why he didn't name Belichick or the Pats in there. And he'll be able to show love to them, you know what I mean? But I think there's certain things where you keep receipts, you know what I mean? Of course, 6 championships is 6 championships, but I don't think he really enjoyed his time, there with Bill as he enjoyed time with Bruce Arians and the Bucs. He was micromanaged there, you know what I mean? Everyone rode him hard. Everyone was rode hard in the New England franchise. And yeah, they won rings, they cheated, but I don't think he had fun all the time. And I think Gronk will even admit that as well. You're winning, right? But you're not really having fun. Maybe it was fun for the first couple, but then after that, I think it probably got to a point where it's like, God, these guys are just harping on me all fucking day. And it's like, yeah, you're winning, but it's like sometimes, you don't want to have someone just nagging in your ear, every single fucking game. But at least that's what I kind of feel. He said, Rick Boogs. I feel you. So when he played his team no better than the Cousins played. I mean, it's debatable. It's debatable, my dude. Brute Saint in the building. What to do? XFL. Yeah, I'm going to be looking into that. And like I said, I'll probably be doing some of the games just for extra content. So if Brute Saint, you have some time, you want to hang out with your boy, with Birdman 951 or Zini Panini, there'll be a few of y'all that'll be hanging out with me on the stream, and we can have a good time with it. Elimination Chamber, Becky Lynch and Lita. And we have Brock Lesnar and Roman. Niner by Nature in the building. Thank you, Tom, for showing me greatness. Tough, man. Yeah, your 31-17 prediction, didn't happen. Maybe sometimes that humble pie, you know what I mean? Sometimes being just too aggressive and talking too much shit, even if you love your team and being super confident, sometimes that shit backfires. And just lo and behold, Jimmy G, found a way to make that fucking bonehead fucking throw there at the end. And also with Tart dropping the pick. If Tart would have got that, there's no guarantee that they would have won because Jimmy was struggling at that time. But I am excited to see what Trey Lance can do. And it's just sad that it ended the way that it did. And that's why the NFL is unpredictable and why we love it, because you just never really know. You never really know what's going to happen until actually the games happen. So they said, hey, Debo, that like button, y'all. Yeah, but with Kaepernick and obviously with, I think a lot of people, they misconstrued the Kaepernick thing, and obviously now with the Brian Flores thing, if you're kneeling, they're like, don't disrespect the military. It was never about that. It was always against, the brutality against, people of color, of, Mexican or African American, and the police brutality. But then you get these people that are racist, or they have some kind of prerogative where they try to make it about the military when it wasn't even about that, which is kind of sad that America is so fucking fucked up and racist that they have to make it that way. But Kaepernick pretty much sacrificed his career to try to show awareness. And, what's going to happen to Brian Flores? Guess what? Same thing. He's never going to coach in the NFL again. No one's going to give him a job, but at least he's going to stand up, for the African Americans for coaching jobs. And so hopefully we can have at least a couple in the league rather than just Mike Tomlin. And that's facts. And obviously at ownership, I think a majority of the NFL teams are owned by Caucasian men or women. It would be cool to be able to have, a black woman or man owner. You know what I mean? I know like Diddy and a few other people were trying to buy a team like Jay-Z, you know what I mean? But I don't know if that's ever going to happen, because obviously you got to have billions of dollars. The Denver Broncos are available for purchase for $4 billion. So if you guys want to pool your money together, we can buy the Denver Broncos for $4 billion. But I know right now I don't got $4 billion in my bank account. So I don't think I can do that right now. I need a little bit of your guys' help. So, it is what it is. So I really don't like touching on serious topics. In other places I do talk about it, but here I want to keep it sports, of course. But obviously if we're talking about, Kaepernick, or we're talking about, obviously what's going on in the news night with Flores, with the coach and the ownership and, trying to give him money to lose. I mean, that's a big thing. That is a big thing. They were memeing Belichick like crazy. Like there was a teacher and a kid, and it said Mac Jones teaching Belichick how to add last names to contacts. Shit, for real. I mean, if Belichick doesn't even know how to use a phone and doesn't realize if he's talking to Brian Flores or Brian Dable, that's sad. That is sad. Someone needs to get that guy a new flip phone and upgrade to an iPhone or a fucking Galaxy. Come on, my dude. Come on, my dude. Man, crazy, crazy, crazy. Let him know, Niner by nature. Debo that button, baby. Debo that button. McPherson on McAfee not long ago has a brother in high school. He's a kicker, and he said he's better than him. Wow, really? Okay, there we go. Prayer Man 2009. Good evening, brother, and everyone. Hey, Zini Panini was in here earlier, and I let her know, of the gifts that we ended up, giving her, and sending that money her way. She ended up buying something for her mom that was a Bengals fan, and then I ended up sending her some more money so that way she could buy something for herself. But she says thank you to you and obviously me. Prayer Man 2009, and then she ended up sending me a screenshot of some Jalen Hurts merch, some Eagles sandals, flip-flops, and a few other things. So she says thank you. I don't know if she's still in the room now, but obviously we take care of the Fanatic family. So if anyone has, like a death in the family, or we're going through depression or anxiety, or we're going through addiction, or whatever the situation is, we look out for each other. We take care of each other. And I thought that was a real selfless thing that you decided to do with me, to send her, something, so that way we can get her a gift. It's something to brighten her day, obviously, with the loss that she had in her family. Prayer Man, my dude, appreciate you very, very much. Fly, Eagles, fly in the building. What to do? AJ Styles, Lesnar, Bobby Lashley, Riddle, Theory. Oh, Elimination Chamber. Okay. So I meant Tom Brady always be confident in the Niners regardless. Yeah, absolutely. Ivan's in the building. Let's go LA. I would assume that would be LA Rams. Ramily in the building. What to do? Facts, fam on Kaepernick and Flores. And like I said, some people don't want to talk about it, but I mean, racism is real. And, when you're getting crazy shit that's happening in the NFL, I mean, sometimes it doesn't need to be talked about. And it's not like we're trying to go one way or the other. We're just stating the facts. I think that, there needs to be more, people of color, Asians, Mexicans, African Americans. There needs to be more diversity as coaches in the NFL. Maybe not necessarily just head coaches, but like coordinators and other positions. It would be nice to see more females, more Mexicans, more Asians, more African Americans, at least getting an opportunity. They don't have to be the head coach or the owner, but just give them a job. If they're qualified, give them a job if they're there, and some organizations are starting to do that, which is very cool in my book. Okay. So Kaepernick was the first jersey I ever owned. I was 10. I love him, still do. I mean, he is one of those guys that's very iconic. $4 billion is nuts. Who made money real for reals, right? It's crazy. Chief Gone Chief. I appreciate Flores giving a shout out to Eric Bieniemy. Also, I saw that. And for a guy that is qualified to be a head coach, I just think that, it's better off for him to stay pat, right, where he's at. So after Andy Reid retires, boom, you could be the head coach of the Chiefs. That'll be a better spot for you rather than going to a team like the Texans, taking the job, having a shit, team around you, getting fired after 2 years and then going back to the Chiefs. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. Said, no problems. I love you and be strong. I sent you a Cash App donation. Nice. Thank you. Appreciate you. Oh, there we go. Thank you so much. Prayer Man, sending some love. Dude, you're the man, dude. You are the man. Prayer Man, always sending love, dude. I appreciate you so much. And like I said, when you did the donation, I did one with you to her, and then I ended up sending up another one to her. That way that we can really show some love to our fans here. Prayer Man, 2009, always showing love on the channel. And it's on the Cash App. Look at this. Bang, 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 bang. $25 dono on the Cash App. So just like, we have people like, Cyberpunk 53 who sent the $100 donation on the Cash App. Cash App is so important to this channel just because I don't have 50 people consistently in the room or 100 people in the room or 1,000 in the room where you get enough donations from a lot of different people on the YouTube Super Chat where I can still be okay. So if I'm having limited people, but we can get some on the Cash App, it's going to help me and the family here and obviously Paisley just to be able to survive. So thank you so much. I appreciate you very, very much, man. Zed, hey, sent you a Cash App donation. Bang! Prayer Man 2009, $25. Appreciate you very, very much, man. Gang, gang, gang. Eagles John. And let me mention too, there's the Denver Bronco fan base donates heavy, right? Obviously with Nate the Great. All right. The Chiefs fans with Holly Hundo, Odin's son, Cyberpunk 53 donates heavy. The Eagles fan base always donates heavy. Saints fan base donates heavy. So there's certain, fan bases that donate definitely a lot more. And I can't, say thank you guys enough for all your support and all your love. I work hard. I'm grinding it out. Thank you so, so, so much. You guys are the best fans on planet Earth. Orion, I mentioned this before, but you should set up a Venmo. I guess I should, huh? Like, you know what I mean? I have Cash App, but if that's something that you would be able to donate to me that way, unless you have a Cash App yourself, I guess I can go onto the Play Store and start a Venmo, I guess, and then I'll let you know. So maybe I'll do that tonight if that's easier. I know some people like to do that. I've never had Venmo before, but I imagine it's easy like Cash App to set up. So I'll look into it tonight. And then once I have that set up, then I'll be able to, pass that information on the bottom of the ticker if I end up doing the Venmo and I get it set up properly. And I'll do that as well. Thank you so much. Hell yeah. What are we at right now? 187, only 13 to 200. That's awesome. That's awesome. So as we were talking about earlier today, Tom Brady. All right. We were talking about Tom fucking Brady. Okay. We were talking to Tom Brady and him actually retiring for real this time. And then he ended up having an 8 or 9 page, kind of memoir. And I'll read this really quickly. I read it at the beginning, and there was another 8 pages on top of this. Nothing was mentioned about BB, Bill Belichick, or the Patriots. He says, I've always believed the sport of football as an all-in proposition. If 100% competitive commitment isn't there, you won't succeed. And success is what I love so much about our game. There is a physical, mental, and emotional challenge every single day that has allowed me to maximize my highest potential. And I have tried my very best these past 22 years. There are no shortcuts to success on the field or in life. This is difficult for me to write, but here it goes. I am not going to make that competitive commitment anymore. I have loved my NFL career, and now it's time to focus my time and energy on other things that require my attention, which means his family and his kids. So congratulations to Tom Brady, calling it quits. Had a great, fantastic career. The ultimate goal was always to get me, a Super Bowl within the first 2 years. Who knew that it was going to be year 1, and I would be so happy for him to get me there. We fell short in the divisional round this year, but what an amazing accomplishment for Tom Brady. And if you want to end up throwing some stats up there, YouTube GM, if you want to throw some stats up there for, Tom Brady and all his accomplishments, if you have that saved on your computer, or if you have it, obviously close to you, why don't you throw those into the chat so that way we can kind of reflect on the amazing records that Tom Brady has. I'm watching the Patriots and the Eagles right now, the year that T.O. was on there. So they're going through all of Tom Brady's Super Bowls and achievements throughout the years, all 7 Super Bowls of the wins, and then the 3 losses as well. Donovan McNabb going long, going deep. Oh my God. What a catch. First down, Eagles. I love watching these old school clips from the early 2000s. There was a 4-year stretch when the Eagles went to 4 straight NFC championship games, just like with Andy Reid with the Chiefs. 4 straight AFC championship games, but they only made 1 Super Bowl out of the 4, believe it or not. And then they came up short in this game against New England, but they eventually got, Big Dick Nick Foles, Slick Nick Foles, there's other nicknames for him, and they found a way to be able to get that championship for the Eagles franchise. So yeah, I need to get Cash App. Don't like tubes scooping up the rake. Yeah, especially if you donate 100 and then I get 70 of it, and then I got to wait a month for it. But if you end up donating 100 on the Cash App, I get 99 of it, or 99.25 or 99.50. It's much better, if you end up not having to pay YouTube and Google. And it's easy. You can go to the Play Store, you download Cash App. You just put in some basic information, you link it to your debit card, and then you can, go back and forth. And it's kind of handy, to be honest, because not only for YouTube, but sometimes if I send money to friends or family members, and then you don't have to wait for them to send you a check or cash in the mail, you can just kind of trade funds back and forth. You can request or pay. Really easy to use. I think Cash App's app is probably one of the easiest money apps to use that's out there. I don't know about Venmo and how easy that one is to use, but with my experience with Cash App, it's very easy. Zelle I have too. I have Zelle through Chase, so I use Zelle also. It says Zelle and Venmo are good donation sources too. I have to go now. God bless everyone. Prayer Man 2009, thank you so much for your $25 donation and the Zini Panini donation to help out another fellow Eagle fan member. Prayer Man 2009, love you, appreciate you. Gang, gang, gang. Eagles, John, that Super Bowl just drained me. I bet. David Goldstein, another Eagles fan. Eagles all day, every day. I love the Eagles support in the channel. They're on TV right now against the Patriots. But sometimes when you lose, then you end up winning, and it feels so much sweeter when you go through the pain, because a lot of times you just don't win immediately. Like with the Bengals, if they end up winning, it'll be like, oh my God, they just won. But they also have had a drought since the 80s. So it's like 88, 89. It's been a long time since the Bengals have actually been good. So if they end up proving everyone wrong and Joe Burrow, get the gat. All right. If they end up, winning the Super Bowl, it's going to be very shocking, because I know the Rams are going to be heavily favored. And did you guys see that thing on Instagram or Twitter where that guy made a $20 bet that was a $20 credit? He literally guessed the exact score of both games, the Chiefs and the Bengals, and the Niners and the Rams. Did you guys see that? He won over $500,000, and it wasn't even $20 of his own. It was a $20 credit to start the betting process through like DraftKings or whatever. And he ended up winning like $550,000 because he ended up correctly guessing both scores. Is that guy a time traveler? Like, who is that guy? Like, what are the chances of you exactly predicting the score on both? And then you go from $20 that you didn't even put in of your own money, and now you're $500,000 richer. Like, you probably don't even have to work for the next 10 years. Unbelievable. Did you see that? I mean, I read everything. I know you saw it. Eagles John saw it. Amazing. $530,000. It's like winning the lottery. My God. And he just made two picks. The exact score of the NFC Championship game and the exact score of the AFC Championship game. And I've never seen a bet like that before. That might have been the greatest bet of all time. To hit exactly the correct score on both. Unfucking believable. I wish that was me. He's Marty McFly. Yeah. Man, unbelievable. I did see that, Portnoy. Yeah, of course, because he's a Patriot guy, and all of them were talking shit, right? Yep. I follow Barstool. I do. Yeah, I don't follow them religiously, but obviously I see things on YouTube and on Bleacher Report. I'm always on Twitter. Instagram, not so much. I mean, it's like earlier, young Nola was arguing with me on there, and I had to block him on the Instagram, and I had to block him on the Twitter. And I mean, he might end up coming back to the channel at some point, but he just loves to talk shit. And you know what I mean? It's like, I don't want to have to. It's like if you have to let go of certain people, if they're causing stress in your life, I just want Nola to be more mature, but I just don't think he's ever going to mature. You know what I mean? Hopefully one day he does, and we can have him back on the channel, but I don't want to cause drama in the chat. And it's like, if you're not willing to grow up and be mature about things, then maybe it's better off, with certain people not on the channel. But I did see Portnoy with that. It said, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. I mean, there's racism, and I think that exists. I think that's one of those things that we know, you know what I mean? And I'll go on and I'll put this on here with Brian Flores. This is another story here. So we'll talk about Brian Flores, right? And we obviously want to talk about, the different things that have been going on. But we just want people that are of color to get a fair shake of things. And supposedly the owner in 2019 said that if they lose games to get higher draft position, that they would pay him $100,000 for every game that they would lose. They started winning games, and then the owner got pissed. Okay. And obviously Flores, this is what came out today and making the decision to file the class action complaint today. I understand that I may be risking the coaching game that I love and that has done so much for my family and me. My sincere hope is that by standing up against systemic racism in the NFL, others will join me to ensure the positive change is made for generations to come. And also just getting a fair shot. And then there was the Bill Belichick text messages. I don't know if you guys saw that as well, but he ended up getting a text message from Bill Belichick, and he was talking to him about, the coaching opportunities on the Giants. And he's like, congratulations, you got the job. And he's like, did you hear something that I didn't hear? And then they were talking and they're talking. And then at the very end of the conversation, he's like, this is Brian. Are you talking to Brian Flores or are you talking to Brian Dable? And it was Flores, right? And he's like, oh, fuck, my bad. You know what I mean? I got my messages mixed up. So, and he was supposed to have an interview a couple days after. So they already pretty much decided that they were going to give the job, to Dable. And also too, when he was getting the head coaching opportunity for Denver, he said that Elway was like hungover drunk. And, it's like, sometimes they just do it for like the Rooney Rule. You just have to have like an African-American coaching candidate just to make it fair. But they don't have any intention of hiring that particular coach. There's so many good applicants, like Eric Bieniemy. I think Flores is good. I would take him on Tampa Bay. If Bruce Arians decided to leave, I got Todd Bowles as my DC, and I got Byron Leftwich. So I got two guys on my team that could be head coaches that are African-American on the NFL side. You could end up having the Jags with Byron Leftwich, and you could have Todd Bowles coach pretty much anywhere. I don't want him to leave, but there is an issue there. And I think Flores, he's under the Belichick coaching tree. But let's be honest. The majority of all the ownership is Caucasian. They, try to be able to, make it fair for some of the people out there, but obviously it's not. And we know Brian Flores now is not going to be able to get a job. His career, right? His career for coaching is over. This is like Kaepernick fighting for his rights. But if he can end up fighting for his rights, and then it opens the door for guys like Byron Leftwich and Todd Bowles, and they can actually get a fair shot, then maybe it'll be worth it. But he's going to end up losing out because no one's going to hire him, which is kind of fucked up, just like with the Kaepernick thing. Kaepernick should have been able to go back into the NFL because at that point, a couple years after, he still was one of the top 32 quarterbacks, but he'll never play in the league again, and Flores is done too. Whether you want to admit it or not, but it's over. He's not going to get another job opportunity if you're suing the NFL as well as you're going after some of these accusations. But the accusations seem true. I don't think that he's lying. I think that a lot of the things, he's got text message proof. He's got a lot of proof, based off emails and text message and phone calls and, all of that. So it's just sad, but it is what it is. Until we get Jay-Z or Diddy to buy a team and they can bring in maybe some people of color, maybe things will change, but it's not going to change anytime soon. So it is what it is. So hard to have diversity in ownership. Yeah, I hear you. So my question is, when Dable got the job, how do we know Flores wasn't hired based off his skin color? Well, I think, at some point, if a majority of the owners are white or Caucasian, if they didn't really like a coach, you're not going to hire him just because he's black. You're going to hire him because he's under Bill Belichick's coaching tree and he's a really smart, qualified candidate, color aside. You know what I mean? Color aside. It's just like Mike Tomlin. We know he's great, right? Todd Bowles, we know he's great. Leftwich has proved that he could probably be an OC. I'm not sure how good of a head coach he's going to be, but there's just certain guys that that are qualified, and it also is true that you get certain Caucasian head coaches that do worse, that keep their jobs compared to some of the brothers that have a better record and they get fired, which is kind of bullshit. You know what I mean? Whether they want to admit it or not, there's some little racist bullshit that's going on, but there's a lot of Caucasian coaches that have horrible records that still stay on the team. And then you get these brothers that have a better record, but then they get axed, they get fired. So, it's just kind of fucked up, man. It's just a fucking joke. It's not even real. It's just something that they wrote in an email to try to please, the people of color, the Mexican, the Asians, and the African Americans, and be like, oh, we made the Rooney Rule, so everything's good now, right? Sign it, sign it, sign it. But I mean, you actually have to legitimately make it happen and make it truthful. And obviously it's not. So we'll see if it changes after this Brian Flores issue, but I'm not really too sure. Hopefully. But you know what I mean? Like I'm half Japanese and I'm half Czech. You know what I mean? So I've had a lot of racism towards me. A lot of people, they don't know what I am. They think I'm, Hawaiian, or they think I'm some, race of certain kind, part Asian or whatever. You know what I mean? But I'm not racist. I get along with African-American, Chinese, European, Brazilian. I got friends of all ages, of all races, and I've had racism towards me. You know what I mean? But, for me, there's certain topics that people don't want to talk about, but I'm not biased. I call it right down the middle. And sometimes people don't want to hear it. It's like Democrats, Republicans, the black and the white, or, the Mexican and the Asian. People just love to separate and divide and make people go against each other. It's just fucked up. You know what I mean? It's like, it'd be really nice if we can just get along. But the reality is, racism exists. It's never going to end. But we just want to be able to get to a point where they don't lie about stuff. If you're going to say you're going to do the Rooney Rule, do it then. Don't pretend that you're trying to enforce the Rooney Rule when you're not. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I feel about it. So, hey, it's not going to end. Yep. And with the media, it's exactly, see, you know what I mean? And some people don't want to talk about that. I don't have a problem because I'm not racist and I just call it how I see it. Some people will agree, some people will not, but I've never been racist. I've never had a racist bone in my body. I mean, I used to have friends of color as early as 5 years old, in my neighborhood. I had Mexican, I had black, I had, Asian, I had Korean, I had all kinds of, mixed race of different people that were my friends. We all would play basketball with each other and football and baseball. And I never saw color. I always was just, they're my friends. So, I mean, it just depends on where you grow up and how your parents brought you up, or your grandparents, or, but hopefully things change as far as the NFL is concerned. That's all I want to say about that. Okay. So we got Tom Brady. All right. We already know that he's retiring. He's moving away. This Brian Flores shit is crazy. Hopefully something good comes out of it, because he's not going to coach in the NFL ever again, which is a damn shame, because I think he is a good coach. And I don't think he should have been fired. And I would take him in Tampa Bay in a fucking heartbeat. And last but not least, Jim Harbaugh, for my boy CP, the Minnesota Vikings. It sounds like that this guy, Jim Harbaugh, is going to take the job. And if you can end up getting a Vic Fangio as a defensive coordinator, this could be very big, all right, for the Minnesota Vikings, especially if Aaron Rodgers leaves, right? If Aaron Rodgers leaves and then they, either franchise Devontae Adams or they don't, the Vikings are going to run the North. All right, we don't know how good Justin Fields is going to be. We're going to have to kind of wait and see with the different coaches and how things are going to go. We already know what's happened with Josh McDaniels, Raiders, right? We already know that Dennis Allen might be in the running for the Saints head coaching job. At least I hope so. Dan Quinn is staying pat for the Cowboys, but I think Kellen Moore needs to be fired and McCarthy needs to go. Eberflus, all right, we already know what's going on there. We saw him, with the Colts. Now he's going to be there with the Bears. We'll see what happens there. And then Nathaniel Hackett going from Green Bay, obviously, to the Denver Broncos. And then Sean Payton decided to walk away. So there's going to be a lot of movement in the coaching circles and the coaching trees. It's going to be very exciting to see who goes where and what happens. But I'm very excited to see if you're going to give up Michigan football after you beat Ohio State for the first time in like a billion years, right? You actually had some success, even though you got fucking rocked, right? You got rocked in the playoff. Obviously, we saw Alabama and Georgia, pretty much Alabama to Cincinnati, Georgia to Michigan. It was embarrassing, right? But at least they had a good season. And if he knows Rodgers is leaving, why wouldn't you want to go? Because then you could be the man, just like you were in San Francisco, and you could use that power football and actually get your name back out there. And I think it's a good destination. You got Dalvin Cook. You got Adam Thielen, you got Justin Jefferson, you got Kirk Cousins, but you need to beef up the O-line, beef up the defense, and get yourself a Vic Fangio at defensive coordinator. And if you can get Vic Fangio at defensive coordinator, maybe you can have a powerhouse team there. You know what I mean? It's just a matter of, can you get Vic? Is he interested? When he was obviously the Bears defensive coordinator, he was great, right? I really liked him there. But it's just a matter of, what does he want for money? Can they afford him? Is he going to be a guy that, would be a good fit? And I think that, he would be a good fit there. I think he really would. It just depends on, if they can make it all work out. And if obviously, Harbaugh wants him. Does Harbaugh want him? Would it be a good fit? I think so. I mean, I think Harbaugh and Fangio, Harbaugh, Fangio, Harbaugh, Fangio. We saw him, obviously, what he did for the Chicago Bears. He was amazing. That's when the Bears were actually good on defense. But when he went to Denver, he's not a good head coach, but he's a great defensive coordinator. So I'm thinking with Fangio and Harbaugh, it could be special. It could be magic. I'm excited to see where it goes. And like I said, it's excited. I'm very excited to see all the different pieces in motion. I said one again and out, Fangio in. Eagles John, I hear you. YouTube GM. I mean, there's racism everywhere, my dude. Come on, man. We should know this. Exactly. Eagles John. That's really what we're talking about. You know what I mean? There's something that needs to be able to change. And you got to think, if there's 32 coaches, right? You're telling me that there's only one qualified, like, African-American coach. Tomlin's great. You know what I mean? I think if Tomlin ever gets fired and Bruce Arians is gone, I think he might come to Tampa because he has Tampa ties. You know, he actually coached for Tampa, with my secondary years ago. So I would take him on my team in a heartbeat. He's never had a losing season. But, Flores is good. You're going to have Leftwich and you're going to have, obviously, Todd Bowles. So there's going to be more than just one African-American head coach. But it's like I would like to see the Mexicans or the Asians or other races out there that are, up in the, working in the college ranks, high school ranks. And if they work themselves up, I want them to be able to have a fair shake as well. But like I said, instead of just recycling all of these like bad coaches, because it seems like that's what happens in the NFL and the MLB and the NBA, right? It's like just a bunch of guys that suck. And then they just rotate this crap fest of sucky coaches. And then one coach sucks and he goes to another team and sucks. And it's just a rotation of suck. You know what I mean? I want some new breed, new love, some new peeps, to be able to show that they got some game out there. T.O. rumbling and a bumbling down the sideline. Absolutely love that. Dungy, loved him. Like I said, he used to play for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He built my team before Gruden got there. I absolutely loved him. The one thing that I didn't love was he was too conservative on Tampa Bay. He was way too conservative on Tampa Bay for me. It's like we would get to the NFC Championship game and, you have Sean King and we're like always kicking field goals. We needed someone to actually go for it, not like Chip Kelly, but like John Gruden, to actually go for it. And once we got someone that was a little bit more aggressive, you saw what happened. Mike Allstott, Warren Sapp, Derek Brooks, John Lynch, Rondé Barber, Simeon Rice. We found a way to get it done, and then we won the Super Bowl. But then I'll tell you what, once he went to the Colts, Sarah Small's team, and won the championship, I was so happy for him because not only did I get a championship with Gruden, Dungy didn't walk away without getting a ring for himself because he was very good. Obviously with what I had with Monty Kiffin at defensive coordinator, Jim Johnson, obviously Eagles John, you know him. He was one of the best defensive coordinators before he passed away. Jim Johnson was great. Monty Kiffin was great. Obviously the Pittsburgh Steelers, Dick LeBeau. Back then, those were the best three defensive coordinators in the league. How I remember Jim Johnson, Dick LeBeau, and Monty Kiffin beats me, but it's a steel trap up here, and I remember information. So it's crazy how I can remember those names and those guys that were out there that made an impact. But the Steelers were Dick LeBeau, all right, Jim Johnson for the Eagles, and then Monty Kiffin for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They were the best three defensive coordinators for a long, long time. So crazy, man. What are we sitting at donos right now? Are we almost at 200? I know we have something crazy. What are we at? We're at on the Cash App. We had some amazing donos by Cyberpunk 53 as well as Prayer Man 2009. So we're at 125 on the Cash App, which is amazing. I really do need it. It's definitely going to help with everything with bills. I just had to go buy dog food for Paisley today, and the funds were starting to get a little bit lower there. And then we had some obviously donations. We had a $50 donation, I know for sure, from Nate the Great, and a $12 donation from Air Whitey. So right there's 37. So what we at? 125. So we're pretty close. 150. 175. So what? 187. So we're like what 13? There we go. 13 from 200. We can definitely do 13 before the show ends. So I probably got another 30 minutes of the show. We'll probably end up doing it 2 hours. We're at 1 hour and 26 minutes, unless, it's a kind of a Q&A now because I pretty much went over everything that I wanted to go over. I wanted to go over Tom Brady. I wanted to go over, some Q&A. I wanted to go over Brian Flores and the whole situation of suing the NFL. Wanted to go over Jim Harbaugh. And like I said, I'm going to drink beers and I'm watching the NFL Network with Tom Brady. So from here on out, and if you want to share the channel, smash the like button. We're $13 away of hitting the goal, which is fantastic. And like I said, it's a free Q&A right now. So any questions that you want to ask about the draft, your team, NFL, NBA, MLB, AEW, WWE, fire away while I drink some beers. I got a few Coronas that I'll slam before we end the show, and let's have a good time. Like I said, I'm grinding, I'm hustling. I want to be able to spend time with you guys. And like I said, I didn't know, like every show that we go into, I never know who's going to come in the room. Besides the normal people, I never know what the donations are going to be. I never know what the questions are going to be, but it always ends up being an amazing show because of you guys. You guys always make it great. Even though Peter Schrager decided to steal my material, still can't believe that. You know what I mean? Claiming it as his. He's like, I call that Uncle Mo. Kyle Brandt. What's that? Uncle Momentum. You know what I mean? I tweeted him and he deleted it, so he saw it and he deleted it. So he knows. He knows that I know, you know what I mean? But I guess that's the biggest form of flattery. You're on fucking TV and you can't even come up with your own cool catchphrase, so you have to steal it from a YouTuber. But hey, you know what I mean? The real ones, you guys know where it came from. And I've been saying it for years, but it's just so crazy to me that Madden stole sack lunch from me, right? And that's a huge video game. Madden is the biggest video game for football besides college football that'll be coming out. But Madden is the cream of the crop, the top of the top, right? And they stole sack lunch from me, right? And put it in the game. And then now Uncle Momentum is stolen by Good Morning Football. I mean, I don't know what's next. I don't know what next, Tyler, get to the door and lock it, or any of the other catchphrases or nicknames that I have. But I mean, it's kind of an honor, but it's also kind of disrespectful, not to give me a little shout out or credit, but I guess that, it is what it is. Once I get bigger, we'll end up talking about it down the road. We'll laugh about it, but I guess it is the biggest form of flattery, when you have to copy someone. So. But I figured it wouldn't be Schrager. I mean, he's a stats and analytics guy. I figured it wouldn't be him that would steal it, but I guess it's an honor. It's one of the biggest guys on Good Morning Football. He's all over on Dan Patrick's show, and I just thought that he would be better. I just thought he would be a little bit better. All right, here we go with some questions here. Absolutely. What do you do with the Colts with Wentz? Trade them. I know that, Jameis and Wentz, they were Band-Aids. I thought both did better than anticipated this season. Jameis got hurt. Devin White, some people like young Nola is immature, and he says Devin White is a dirty player and he's a hoe and he did it on purpose. Stupid ass comments like that, right? He's not a dirty player. He didn't do it on purpose, right? And it was shitty that it happened. I wanted Jameis to be healthy, and I thought Jameis had a great season, and you guys would have got a 6 seed out of it, right? Or a 7 seed. And you guys probably would have upset teams like Tampa if we would have played each other. But with Wentz, it was good all the way up into that last game against Jacksonville. And then you just blew it right there. But also let's remember, you don't have wide receivers and you don't have tight ends. So the defense is good with Darius Leonard, DeForest Buckner, Kwity Paye, right? You got, Quentin Nelson, you got Jonathan Taylor that had a breakout season. You have Michael Pittman Jr. Yeah, T.Y. is old, but let's be honest. The wide receiving core and the tight end core for your team, Sarah, needs a lot of help. So if you got a Godwin or you got, Ridley, it's going to help, tremendously. So if Wentz stays, I think you're going to see that he's a lot better than people give him credit for. It's like, oh, he did shitty on Jacksonville. Oh, he's horrible. But do we actually go back and look at his stats the whole year? He played pretty good. A lot of the losses weren't necessarily all on him. Some of them were, but some of them were not all on his shoulders. So, I mean, but you might want to be able to move on depending on who's available. Same thing with the Saints, depending on if Jameis's, knee, ACL, MCL, PCL is, recovered. But I think that both guys actually shined this year and did better than what most people anticipated. I got a lot of respect for Wentz and Jameis, and they definitely proved me wrong that they were a little bit better than I was anticipating. So. Jameis and Meza. All right, YouTube GM, we're done talking about, the Flores thing and the racist thing. We don't talk about racism and politics on this channel, unless it's something out of a story, okay? But once we actually talk about it, that's when it ends, okay? We don't need to talk about Republican, Democrat, racism and all that, you know what I mean? We talk about what's going on in the story, and then we drop it. Okay. You know what I mean? Because there's no room for that, because it's just going to make other people in the chat uncomfortable. Some people can handle it. Some people cannot. So once we talk about it, we end it, and then we're done with it. Okay. Jameis and Meza in the building. What to do? So we ended up talking about Tom Brady retiring. what to do. Hopefully you're having a great day. So we saw Tom Brady. Obviously, he decided to walk away. Had a big emotional post, 8 or 9 pages on Instagram. Didn't mention Belichick or the Patriots once, probably because of the Deflategate. Bill Belichick saying, hey, ask Tom Brady. Brady kept the receipts. They're still going to probably have him retire a Patriot with a 1-day contract. But Brady remembers everything. And I'm really happy with Brady getting that Super Bowl for me. And then Brian Flores, suing the NFL, having issues with Denver and Elway, being drunk when they hired him. And obviously Bill Belichick and the text messages congratulating him on getting the job. But he thought he was talking to Dable, not Brian Flores. And Flores is now suing the NFL. He's never going to coach in the NFL ever again, kind of like a Colin Kaepernick thing where he's trying to stand up for his rights and equality. And he's going to end up probably losing a coaching position forever due to it. But congratulations to him for stepping up and, stepping up for what he believes in. I really commend that out of him and Brian Flores. Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh looks like he is going to end up getting hired by the Minnesota Vikings. Aaron Rodgers is going to more than likely be out. Franchise tag for Devontae Adams, or they'll ship him off. And then who's going to run the North? The king of the North is going to be the Minnesota Vikings, unless the Bears and Fields can take off. But I would say the Vikings are in a great position. And if they get Harbaugh signed, they should hire this guy at defensive coordinator, Vic Fangio. And then I know for sure the Vikings will be the number 1 team, even over the Packers, the Bears, and the Lions. So that's what's kind of happened today. We've already hit $187 in donations. Cyberpunk 53 with a big donation. Obviously, he ended up doing that. Oh, it looks like we ended up getting some more donations here as well. Awesome. Look at this. Look at this right here. Cyberpunk 53 with another donation. You're my dude, man. You already donated $100. Look at this. Look at this. Let's go. Let's go, baby. There we go. Bang! Cyberpunk 53, another $15 on the dono train. Cyberpunk 53 has donated $115. So obviously, Sarah Small, I know you're keeping track. I think that puts us at what, 202? Right? And just when I thought it might be done, no. There's another donation on here. Guess who? Chiefs Gone Chief wants to get into the donation train, and he donated $13. So now we're sitting at $215. Let's go. Let's go. Chief Gone Chief and Cyberpunk 53. Thank you guys so much, man. Chief Gone Chief. You guys are awesome, dude. And it's on the Cash App too, so it makes it even more special for me. All right, Cyberpunk 53. Chief Gone Chief, bang, $13. I think that puts us at $215. You guys are the best fans on planet Earth. I love you, and I appreciate you very, very much. You guys are the best fans on planet Earth. So we got Cyberpunk 53 with a $100 donation, a Wealthy Man, Prayer Man 2009, Eagles fan, $25 donation on the Cash App, then another $15 by Cyberpunk 53, and then another $13 by Chiefs Gone Chief, on top of Air Whitey with a $12 donation through the YouTube Super Chat. And also Nate the Great came in. He's going to go watch Scream. Bang, $50. He started it all off. And we're having a great day today. You guys are awesome, man. You guys are the best fans on planet Earth. I love you and I appreciate you. And all it takes is just a little bit of support. And the best part about it is that look at the room. We usually have 20 people or less. I guarantee there is no other channel on YouTube that does NFL or sports that can have 10 people in the room that are sitting at $215 in donos. Period. It just doesn't exist. A lot of people have to have 50, 100, 200, 500 to be able to get donos of that nature. You know what I mean? So that shows you how much love, appreciation, and the Fanatic family, how much we really help each other out. And you guys appreciate what I do. I work hard, and I obviously want to give the love back and show the appreciation back. You guys are the best fans that I could ask for. You guys are so giving. You guys are so loving. You know, when Zini Panini's sister died, me and Prayer Man sent her some money to buy some Eagles merch. What happened? She ended up buying something for her mom that was a Bengals fan. So I sent her some more money to buy something for herself. And then she ended up sending me a picture on NFL Shop of some items that she bought, some Eagles flip-flops, a Jalen Hurts t-shirt, and then some other item that she showed me. Let me look to see what she actually sent, because she sent me the picture and it made me smile. I was like, oh, awesome. You know what I mean? So let me pull it up here. So she sent me, this is what she bought. Okay, she bought some Eagles flip-flops, which are awesome Focos. She got an Eagles tie-dye Eagles t-shirt, which is sick. And then she got a Jalen Hurts long sleeve tee that's got Eagles in the front and Hurts on the back. Super sick. So that makes me smile. You know what I mean? When someone goes through like a death in the family, or we're going through something, addiction, depression, anxiety, whatever it is, it really means a lot that, when I get the donos, I usually like to spread the donos back out to the fans if needed. Like Marcos Pineda broke his ankle. I sent him $100 to get his phone turned back on. He's the 12th man. He loves the Seahawks. I helped him out. Will the Thrill in Scotland was going to get his power turned off. I sent him $35 for him and Moira, so that way they didn't have their power turned off. So, I mean, if I get money, usually I'm not just like, oh, I'm buying all these cool things for myself. I haven't literally bought anything for myself in a long fucking time. It's usually just going towards rent or bills or giving back to the fans if they need it. You guys are the best fans on planet Earth. I love you and I appreciate you. You guys are always coming through. You guys are loyal to the soil. There's a lot of other channels that are out there, but they don't have the loyalty like this channel. The Fanatic family is very special, and I can't tell you guys enough how much I love you and I appreciate you. You guys are fucking amazing. What are we at? $35 away from $250. I mean, we already broke $200. If we get there, great. If we don't get there, it's okay. But yeah, I mean, we're very close to the 250 mark, which is amazing. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to be online now for another 22 minutes. We'll make it a clean 2-hour stream. I'm going to drink a couple beers until the meantime. So any other questions that you guys have for me, it is a free Q&A from now until the 2-hour mark. So we're talking about until 8 o'clock. So I'm going to be streaming until 8 o'clock Pacific time. I've been streaming now for about an hour and 39 minutes. So we got 21 minutes to go. It's a free-for-all. Put in your questions. And if any donations come through, great. And like I said, I'll be able to answer those questions. And I'm watching the Seahawks and the Patriots on NFL Network. And I can't tell you guys enough how much I appreciate you guys and love you guys. NWSF for life. You guys are the best. Gang. All right, that beer is done. Time for another. Let's go. Paula, another person that I always like to keep in touch with. Obviously, I've had some rough times. If you end up having some deaths in the family like Zini Panini, or if you have pets that pass away, obviously it's a tough time. And if I can end up making someone smile, I sent Paula a picture of Paisley earlier today, Zini Panini as well yesterday. And hello, how are you? I hope that things are doing well. We're having a great stream already so far, Paula. We're at $215 in donos from probably about 7 or 8 different individuals, which is fantastic. It's been a great day so far. We've been talking about Tom Brady retiring. Obviously, that's been in the news. It actually is official this time. So he is walking away. A nice little text that I ended up reading earlier on. Then we talked about Brian Flores suing the NFL for kind of racism and collusion. Supposedly, the owner in 2019 said that he would pay him $100,000 for every loss to get better draft position. And obviously he had a message with Bill Belichick. And he said, hey, have you heard anything? And Belichick is like, congratulations on getting the job. And Belichick didn't know he was talking to Brian Flores. He thought he was talking to Brian Dable, because they both are under the Patriot coaching tree. And then Bill Belichick at the end apologized, and Flores was like, I have an interview in a couple days. Do you know something that I don't know? And Belichick is a fucking idiot. He thought he was talking to Dable, but the whole time he was talking to Brian Flores. So he has all these receipts on answering machines, text messages, emails. So with him doing this and suing the NFL, he will no longer be a coach in the NFL ever again, which is sad, but he is standing up for himself like Colin Kaepernick did. And obviously we're trying to see some equality, and we can end the racism, and hopefully the Rooney Rule, where they actually interview people of color, will actually come true, instead of just checking the box and acting like you're actually trying to, have people that are qualified, get the interview, instead of just marking the box and saying, hey, we interviewed the guy, but you had no intentions of hiring him. Okay. Then we got Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh looks like he's going to be signed by the Vikings. Aaron Rodgers more than likely out. Devontae Adams might get franchise tagged or out. So the division is up for grabs. And if someone's going to win the division, who's it going to be? The Minnesota Vikings. Skol! So if you end up getting this guy, you remember him on the 49ers. He was fantastic. Power running, physical. He's well respected, kind of a hard ass, right? Peyton Manning didn't want to go there because he didn't want to be micromanaged, and he went to Denver and won a Super Bowl. But if he goes to Minnesota, they can win the division. Now they need to link up with Vic Fangio, make him the defensive coordinator, and then they're Gucci. And then they're going to be good for probably quite some time. So that's what we've been going on. Paula, I hope you are having a fantastic day. Niner by Nature in the building. What to do? All right, my dude. Yeah, YouTube GM, you gotta quit it once you get to a point. All right. Because the thing is, I don't want to lose subs and I don't want to lose people in the room when you keep going on and on. You have this problem, like with the whole Gardner Minshew thing. You know what I mean? When you have this opinion, you just keep fucking going on and on and on. And at some point, you need to recognize the feeling of the room. And if you can tell the room is done with it, you got to fucking end it, bro. You know what I mean? You got to be able to end the conversation because I don't want to have people leave the room because of you. All right. You're the stats and the analytics guy. All right. But I don't want to have to put you in timeout or kick you out of the room. You know what I mean? You got to be able to read the room. Do you feel me? You can't just keep going on and on, or like those times where you start doing song lyrics for like 3 quarters during a football game. You got to be able to know what you're doing. You got to pay attention. You know, this is the Northwest Sports Fanatics. All right. This is not YouTube GM's YouTube channel. Okay. You feel me? You understand? All right. Because I like having you part of the channel. I don't want to have to kick you out like young Noah or Justin Wills. Okay. Paisley made my day. Thank you. My grandma died yesterday. I'm so sorry about that. I know you had your cat pass away and then the grandma now. I'm very, very, very sorry. Like I said, a lot of people have had deaths with, pets or family members. There's nothing I can really say to make it better. I can send you some pictures of Paisley in the next few days, and hopefully that makes you cheer up a little bit. I'll be taking her for a walk in the morning tomorrow. And so I hope things get a little bit better, but you do have the Fanatic family, people like me, Sarah Small, Holly Hundo, a lot of us. And, I'm very excited to be able to be there for the fans if they need me. Viking Jerome in the building, Bill Belichick. What can you say? You know what I mean? There is a reason why he didn't get acknowledged in that Brady, 8 or 9 page Instagram, post this morning. Obviously, they won the 6 titles there. There's a lot of respect for the Patriots fans, but I think that it was keeping the receipts when Bill Belichick got interviewed for the Deflategate. He didn't take ownership of it. He said, ask Tom. And I think Tom didn't appreciate that, and he kept the receipts, and there's a reason why he didn't initially say, thank you, Bill, thank you, Patriots, it made me feel good. It made me feel good. He's all Buccaneers, let's go. And he's going to retire a Patriot, probably that one-day contract, but I think that he really, truly enjoyed Bruce Arians and Tampa Bay. I think that he really had fun for the first time in 20 years. And that's what it's all about. You know what I mean? You don't want to necessarily be micromanage your whole career. And of course, I know he's grateful, of winning the 6 titles. But I think that one in Tampa was really special, coming over, proving that it wasn't Bill Belichick and Brady's a system guy. Fuck that. Brady is the reason why that they were winning the championships. It's obviously very clear. So love me some Brady on my Buccaneers. Big Ben retired on Rooney's birthday. Oh, okay. Appreciate you, Paula. Hopefully things get a little bit better. Skull Vikings. So Viking Jerome, I haven't seen you on the channel before. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. It would be greatly appreciated. I love having new faces and new people that either watch and never comment, or this is one of the first times that you have commented. I've never seen you before. What do you think about this? What do you think about this? Well, Jim Harbaugh, what do you think about this? And Vic Fangio, are you a fan if this ended up happening? Because I already think that you guys are going to run the North. After Aaron Rodgers leaves, I think that this is a great hire for you guys. He's going to bring that physicality. I think he's going to bring a lot of leadership. And you got Dalvin Cook. You got Adam Thielen. All right, you got Justin Jefferson. You got Kirk Cousins. You need to improve the offensive line, improve the defense, get better coaches, and you're there. And you're winning 10, 11, 12 games, and you're going to be king of the North. So I'm not sure what other Vikings fans think, but I really like this fucking move. And if you end up getting this guy on top of it, you guys are going to be very good for a very long time, but I don't know if you're going to get Vic Fangio, and I don't know if Harbaugh and him are friends or not, but I'm excited to see where it goes. Thanks for bringing us all the NFL topics. I work hard. I always do the research. I make sure I have the HD photos ready. I'm always grinding. I'm always working hard. And we're sitting at, $215 in donos? You guys are the best fans on planet Earth. Strange that this originates from BB, who is pretty much an NFL infrastructure via butt dial. Yeah, crazy, right? STL Rocks, happy birthday. Happy birthday, man. I know it's coming up. If it's not today, I know it was coming up, right? So, OMG, I literally found the video of Peter Schrager saying, Uncle Mo. Dude, I feel so bad for you, dude. I can't fracking believe he didn't give you any credit for that. And he said it like, he just invented it. He's like, we were in Kansas City, me and Kay, and it was on Good Morning Football yesterday, and it's on my Instagram, and it's on my Twitter, and if you recorded Good Morning Football, you can find it. But he says, I call it Uncle Mo. And then Kyle Brandt says, what's that? And then Uncle Momentum. No one says that. And then I got some friends that are trying to question me. They're like, great minds think alike. No, motherfucker, great minds don't think alike. That's too specific. It's like Sack Lunch was stolen from me and put in the Madden video games. No other fucking person was saying Sack Lunch, yum, yum, yum. I made that shit up. Okay. You know what I mean? That's like too specific. Okay. But sack lunch is one thing. All right. But Uncle Mo, Uncle Momentum, no one has ever said that. And Brute Saint and a few other people said it. Even Pat McAfee show has stolen it and said it. So I know people are watching. You know, I know EA Sports and Madden's watching. Pat McAfee is watching. They might not sub to my channel, but they have social media teams or themselves. They know who Orion and the NWSF is. But to say that I call it Uncle Mo, like he just created it. Come on. I lost a lot of respect for Peter Schrager, and I lost a lot of respect for Good Morning Football. Will I still watch it? Yeah, but I won't watch it with the same fandom as I did before. I'm definitely not on that love of that fucking show anymore. You know what I mean? I like Pat McAfee show. They're stealing my material. I still watch it. You know, Good Morning Football stealing my material. I guess it's the biggest form of flattery. Maybe I shouldn't be pissed about it, but you know, it's like, at least give me credit. But of course, you're not going to get a guy like Peter Schrager that's famous. That's going to be like, oh, this little YouTube guy named Orion, NWSF, Northwest Sports Fanatics. He made it up, and I decided to steal the catchphrase. You know what I mean? He's not going to say that. You know, on the fucking show, he's going to act like he made it up. And then obviously Kyle Brandt and Chris Carter and Kay is like, wow, Peter, you're a genius coming up with all these cool catchphrases and original content. No, motherfucker, you stealing it from people like me. You fucking hater. You know what I mean? God damn. Hater, hater, hater. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Man, oh man. Hey, you just got to know when to stop, my dude. You know what I mean? YouTube GM, you're still liked in the room. You just got to know when to stop, my dude. Jim Harbaugh. He said, I'm Jim Harbaugh. I love Jim Harbaugh too. Yeah. Yeah, you don't got to be intimidated. But like I said, you know, when you're having conversations with certain people, you got to be able to read the room. You know what I mean? You got to be able to read the room. And obviously, we don't talk politics in this room. We don't talk about really racism, black, white, Democrat, Republican, you know what I mean? But when we have a story like Brian Flores and we're talking about it, you know, that's what we want to talk about. We don't necessarily need to talk super deeply about our own selves. I mean, sometimes I'll bring it up just because I'm the host, you know, because I'm half Japanese and a half Czech. And obviously I've had, you know, racist shit happen against me. But if you're someone that's in the room and you're going on a tangent, going on and on and on, you know what I mean? Like, you got to be able to know there's a time and a place for everything. You know what I mean? So now you know. Okay? Now you know. Yeah, don't be scared, my dude. Don't be scared. All right? It's all good. How you doing, Jameson? What's good, man? Are you excited about the NFL draft? What are you thinking about the playoffs? What are you thinking about the Rams and the Bengals? Who are you rooting for? I know the Bengals beat you. So, I mean, it's kind of one of those things like the Rams beat me. So I'm like, I don't want them to win. They beat me. And you probably feel the same way about the Bengals. You're like, that should be me. I should be in the Super Bowl. And I'm thinking like, I should be in the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? But, you know, our teams fell short. But besides the fact that those teams beat us, is there a team that you're rooting for? Are you rooting for the upset for Joe Burrow, Joe Cool, get the get? Are you rooting for him? Or are you rooting for the Rams because the Bengals beat y'all? I'm kind of curious to see who you guys are rooting for and what you guys think. So if you guys are in the room right now, comment below, unless you have a question for me in the last 10 minutes for the Q&A. You know, you can drop any question that you want, NFL, you know, related, wrestling related, whatever you want. But type in the chat if you're in the room who you guys are going for in the Super Bowl, Bengals or Rams. I'm kind of curious to see what the room is feeling. I got to throw a lime into this beer. YouTube GM, you're still loved, my dude. Don't worry. Said, I am porn, which is mean I am torn. You're not a porn bot, I know. Bengals because of the connection of my Nebraska Cornhuskers of Zach Taylor. Okay. But then, so even though they beat you, you probably like them more as the underdog rather than rooting for the powerhouse Rams that tried to buy the championship. So they tried to copy what Tampa did, but they pretty much just spent all their draft picks and all their capital getting Von Miller, OBJ. So it's almost like the Rams are trying to be like the Yankees. Or they tried to do kind of what Tampa did, but really what Tampa did is like we already had Brady, Gronk signed. It's not like we got a lot of guys after, they did with OBJ and Von Miller. They got those guys late in the season. We didn't get a lot of that. We drafted Antoine Winfield Jr., Tristan Wirfs the year before Devin White. We had AB come around and be on the team, but we didn't really do it the same way. They pretty much just went all in and tried to get these superstars and try to just cash in this year. So I think a lot of people are rooting for the Bengals, but I think a lot of us know that the Rams more than likely are going to win just because of that D-line, and you would just assume Stafford is going to stay hot. Not that Joe Burrow can't do it, but it might be a miracle for the Bengals to win. You know what I mean? I know they've been the underdogs the whole way through, but I mean, I'm rooting for the Bengals, but I have a feeling that the Rams are going to win. But I think it would be very cool either way. Stafford finally getting a ring, Aaron Donald getting a ring, right? Von Miller getting a ring on both sides, AFC, NFC, OBJ getting a ring. But Burrow and that legacy, if they get the ring, I think it would be more cool for the NFL. It's more special. You know what I mean? Because I know some Rams fans that are cool, and I know some Rams fans that are fucking dicks. You know what I mean? And the way they talk to me and the way they've talked to other fans, obviously, just being cocky. They're a great team. They might win it all. I get it. You know what I mean? But I think there's a lot of people that are rooting for the Bengals to upset them. But the Rams are very good. And they're showing that Stafford isn't choking. And the D-line is playing very good. The Rams have the better complete team. But you never know. That's why we play the game, right? So I think all Seahawks fans are rooting for the Bengals. Right? I think a lot of people are going for the Bengals. If Jim Harbaugh gets a Vikings job against Kirk Cousins, he is going to stick around 100%. Even if Harbaugh doesn't come, Cousins is staying. You're not going to get rid of that. He's like the 11th, 12th, 13th best quarterback in the NFL, even though he's not as consistent as you would like. You want him to be consistent in prime time. But like I said, if Rodgers leaves, you're going to take over the NFC North. So I like him. I would take him on Tampa Bay, if that tells you anything. I mean, I'm a fan of all 32 teams. I've been following football since 1985, even though I look like I have a baby face. I'm 39, so I've been watching football since I was 3. So, I mean, I got a lot of knowledge and a lot of tape in me, a lot of film, a lot of game study, a lot of notes, a lot of websites, a lot of reading. But I like Cousins. I like Cousins a lot. Bengals for Billy Cannon, LSU. Joe Montana for Joe Namath, and now Joe Burrow. And Joe Burrow could be the first guy to win the Heisman, the Natty, and the Lombardi the first time to win all 3. And we saw Joe Namath do some crazy shit. We saw Joe Montana, and now we have Joe Burrow. So if I ever have a son, maybe I'll name my son Joe, because it sounds like if you name your son Joe and he goes to the NFL, he's a fucking legend, right? So I always felt vindicated. The team who beat mine went on to win it all aboard the Cincy Burrow show. They need to win. 1990 Reds was a long time ago. Right. And even with the Bengals in like 88, 89, and in the early 80s with Boomer Esiason and Chris Collinsworth and Boomer Esiason and Ickey Woods. And, I remember a lot of those, teams. And it was a fun time, watching the Bengals. And the Bengals lost both Super Bowls, I believe, by less than 7 on both games. So, I mean, if they could have just found a way to hang on to those games instead of Joe Montana, we probably would be talking about the Bengals today other than the 49ers. So Jameson Meza says Bengals. Yeah. I think a lot of people are going for the Bengals. I think I'm kind of going for them too. I mean, the Rams beat me, but I don't know. I think if the Rams fans treated me better, you know what I mean? And if they didn't necessarily try to copycat, Tampa in the way that they were doing it, if they were a little bit more humble about it, I think I would be rooting more for Stafford. But I don't really have a connection with Detroit or Stafford. I don't really give a shit about Von Miller or OBJ. Not really my favorites. Aaron Donald's great, but it's not like he's ever was on my team. So I don't really have any connection. I do respect Cooper Kupp. I like Robert Woods. You know what I mean? But I don't really have any connection whatsoever with the Rams. But even though that we're all hating on them, they're probably going to win the Super Bowl, realistically. You know what I mean? But we can all pray and hope that maybe the Bengals can have one more game of magic. Because I think that overall, if you're not a fan of the Rams or the Bengals, I think a majority of the country, probably 75%, is going to be rooting for Cincinnati to pull the upset off. I think it would be better for the NFL if Cincinnati wins to show that parity. But you never know. I mean, the Rams got to be the favorite, and the game is in their stadium. It's going to be really tough. I mean, it's like Von Bell, Jesse Bates, Trey Hendrickson. They're going to have to play the games of their life. O-line's got to play great. They got a double team, triple team Aaron Donald. And then obviously Burrow's got to outplay Stafford. And you're going to have a great game by Joe Mixon. All right. And you're going to have a great game by a lot of the studs that are out there. So as we talk about the kitty goes meow, all right, we already know, with people stealing catchphrases and whatnot, stealing my Uncle Momentum and Kitty Goes Meow by Tom Grossi. This guy's a fucking stud. Joe Burrow, get the gat, get the gat, get the gat. The most underrated running back in the game. Joe Mixon. Jamar Chase is a top 5 wide receiver already. Tyler Boyd, avoid the Boyd, is a top 30 wide receiver. Same thing with T. Higgins. Very underrated. Underrated safety, one of the most underrated safeties in the game. All right, we got Jesse Bates a third. Von Bell is nice as well. The best kicker, not named, Justin Tucker. Evan McPherson as a rookie. Kitty goes meow. It's going to probably happen, but you're going to have to go against this guy right here, Matthew Stafford, Cam Akers. Cooper Kupp has been amazing this season, even better than Devontae Adams or Tyreek the Freak Hill. OBJ has been a great replacement, All right, a great replacement for Robert Woods, Bobby Trees. Van Jefferson from Florida is good. Tyler Higbee got hurt. He probably won't play. Aaron Donald is the best defensive player, arguably, of all time. Von Miller has been a good role player. Jalen Ramsey's the best corner in the game. The Ramley is in the building. But I think I would rather have the kitty goes meow, and I'd rather have Joe Burrow. But I just don't know if they can do it. You know what I mean? The first year, going from last place to first place, I mean, it's just almost unprecedented. I've never seen a horrible offensive line team go all the way to the Super Bowl. But we're seeing it right now. So maybe at the end of the day, kitty goes meow and we can get Burrow with a championship, but I don't know. We're going to have to kind of wait and see on how that all kind of plays out. 1990 Reds was a long time ago. Yep, I agree. The Cornhusker connection, yeah. Said Bengals, I know the refs rigged our chances to Super Bowl, and I'm still upset at the Rams. Said other quick thing, dad is usually Joe Burrow's dad played for Nebraska Cornhusker in the 90s, as well as Joe Burrow's dad's brother. Oh, okay. See, I like that when you can bring up some of that information when you're a fan, of some of those other teams. That's fucking awesome, dude. Joe Burrow. All right. Joe Burr. Joey B. Joey franchise. Awesome. See, I always love that, Jameson Mazo, when people can bring up other things about their favorite teams in college and other connections to other teams and players. I absolutely love that. Well, you guys are the best fans on planet Earth. I love you and I appreciate you. I got a half a beer to finish before we go. We got about another minute and a half before I go. So any last minute questions or donos, fire them away if you can. Love you and I appreciate you. What was the final count? What did we hit? $215 in donos? That's amazing. For a Tuesday night, that's fucking awesome. And the best part about it, it was from like 7 or 8 different people, not just like one person or 2 people. It was a good, combined effort from a lot of the people that are in the room. And even the people that didn't donate, a lot of good conversations and a lot of, love and appreciation that I have for you guys. You guys are so awesome. Paul, the 12th, the Chinese New Year today. We started the year of the tiger. Maybe good luck, eh? Year of the tiger, Cincinnati Bengals. Kitty goes meow, possibly. Look at that, Sarah Small, 215. So you just never know. I mean, when the donos are going to come, who's going to hop in the room. But I always give 110% on every stream. You guys are so loved. We got a new sub, hopefully, in Viking Jerome. I haven't seen you before, but hopefully I've earned your sub. Hopefully you can come back. I'm going to be grinding it out. Like I said, I do reaction videos, live play-by-play, original content. We'll do WWE, AEW, NBA, MLB. I do a little bit of it all, but normally it's NFL and college football with a little WWE and AEW mixed in. So I love you guys and I appreciate you guys very, very much. Take care. Stay safe. And like I said, let me check my phone to see if there is any last minute donations on the Cash App, because usually those will come in and I'll see if there's anything in there. I don't think that there is, but let's just double check for this, the fuck's sake of it. I think we are good to go. Thank you guys so much for an amazing show. $153 on the Cash App, plus another probably $75 roughly on the channel itself. You guys are the best fans on planet Earth. I love you and I appreciate you. I'll be back tomorrow with another live stream somewhere between 5 p.m. and 7 p.m. Pacific time. I'll end up shooting a notification on the YouTube, the Instagram, the Twitter, my Facebook. And if there's any big news that comes out tomorrow, we're going to get the Washington football team, which sounds like it's going to be the Washington Commanders. So we'll be talking about that. We'll also be talking about Jim Harbaugh more than likely, and a few other awesome stories that hopefully break tomorrow. So I hope you guys enjoy yourselves. AEW is tomorrow as well. Absolutely. I'm excited about that. I got one question for you. Who talk sports like us? Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics. I love you. Appreciate you. I'll be back tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for your generosity, and I'll keep bringing it on every show. Love you. Appreciate you. Peace. Gang.